On today's special episode of Homeworthy, we're escaping to the Hamptons to tour 4 extraordinary homes, each with its own unique story. First, we step inside a breathtaking residence designed by Bunny Williams and Elizabeth Lawrence, where historical charm meets effortless contemporary elegance. Next, we visit Bravo TV star Ramona Singer's renovated Southampton retreat, featuring grand entertaining spaces and a resort-style pool perfect for summer gatherings. Then, we head to East Hampton to explore a timeless home filled with exquisite collections of fine china, flatware, and luxurious linens. And finally, we tour a designer's serene and inviting Hamptons escape, layered with character, warmth, and thoughtful touches that make it the perfect getaway from city life. This summer, spend the hottest months of the year in style with Homeworthy as we visit the most extraordinary homes around the world. From the sun-soaked shores of the Hamptons to the classic beachfronts of Nantucket to the vibrant courtyards of Morocco, be sure to subscribe to Homeworthy's summer series to make every day feel like a vacation. You're watching Homeworthy, where we believe every home has a story.
Hi, Homeworthy. I'm Bunny.
I'm Elizabeth. Welcome to our project in the Hamptons. Come on in.
You're watching Homeworthy, where we believe every home has a story.
Hi, I'm Bunny Williams.
Hi, I'm Elizabeth Lawrence. Welcome to our client project in the Hamptons. We're so excited to show you around.
The client had this beautiful piece of property, but she had very, very strong opinion and about the new house that she wanted to build on the site. Incredibly educated, incredibly knowledgeable, passionate about design. So it was an incredible client to work with because it was really a collaboration of everybody putting in their expertise in each part of the project.
It was really exciting to work with a client who had such a knowledge of art and quite a beautiful collection, and to work and put in her love of antiques, but then also encourage her to mix in a few more modern pieces. This is really, thinking and studying the way you want to live, and we're really hoping that people will see that, and young people coming up will see that you can mix the modern art with these things and keep it alive and contemporary.
The interiors were very much influenced by the architect David Adler. Michael Dwyer, who is the architect on this project, and the client went to look at a number of the Adler houses in Chicago and Lake Forest, outside of Lake Forest. And our client loved David Adler houses, loved the architecture. So the interiors very much reflect the influences of Adler. The stair hall, if you go to the Adler books, you will see a tremendous amount of similarity. But the plan for this house was created to be in proper relationship to the property, which is so important in building a new house. One of the biggest challenges that we faced during this project, and I'm sure Elizabeth will agree with me, is the room that we're sitting in now. The client called us up one day and said, I have the perfect blue. We always thought this room would be blue. And she said, I have the perfect blue for the room. And it's the interior of the room in the film Pride and Prejudice. And we all rushed out. I got the movie. We had to watch it 500 times, because if you watch it 500 times, there are 500 blues in that film for the same drawing room in the movie.
Yes, and it's so funny Buddy says that, because this room, this blue, is so important, and it was so important to get it right. This client, as Bunny mentioned, was very studied, knew exactly what she wanted, which isn't always the case. And so getting this blue right was a challenge. We started with many samples. And then I remember it was over Easter weekend, she came out here and the color was up and it wasn't right. And we knew we had to go back to the drawing board. But you know, as Bunny said, in the film, there's different lighting, there's different angles, everyone's interpretation is a little bit different. And so we all came out here, we met again, we did more samples, we did on-site finishing to really get it perfect. And I think it really does, and it sings. And you know, when you put that time in, it pays off.
If you have intense color, maybe the space next to it is a more neutral or a softer color. Because if you put too many strong colors room after room, it almost can be like you ate too many hot fudge sundaes. It can get to be a little cloying. Whereas I think that strong color, this room, and yet this room is a clear color, but it's a soft blue. I mean, it's an interesting, intense color, and there's lavender cushions, and the chintz has got a stronger blue in it. But if you look from this room into the entrance hall, it's neutral. And if you look from this room into the next room, which is a dining room, which has a fairly intense color, but the color of that room is repeated a little bit from this room. So the blues are repeated. So there should be some continuity from the color of one room to the next, though they can be different.
It's funny, I think sometimes a client will laugh at us, you know, we'll say, well, this green is a neutral or this blue is a neutral, but it's maybe something that doesn't have as much intensity as the room next to it, you know, but it has some color. And so, you know, it's what Bunny's saying, it's about that balance. And I love when there's that harmony, and as you'll see here with the living room to the dining room, and they share a mutual palette.
So we're in the entrance foyer of this house. And the great thing about a space like this is that it gives you a place to welcome people, and then off to the right or the left are the coat closets, the powder room. So everything you need to have happen when you first come in a house can happen here. And it makes a wonderful place to begin your voyage into the rest of the house.
And it's so great. We found this wonderful bench, and it's a great place for someone to just put their bag, put their coat, and move along to their visit.
One of the things that we wanted in this house is that we wanted something very exciting when you open the door. A piece of furniture that just, you went, wow. And we were able to find this table actually at an antique show in London. And what's interesting about this table, it's 18th century, it's English, and it's carved pine. And most of this furniture, when it was carved of pine, it was either painted white or it was gilded. So it's very rare to find the original carved table that doesn't have the fancy finish on it. And that's what makes this table very, very special. And of course, this huge, beautiful marble top. I couldn't even find this marble today.
And moving this piece was a feat unto itself with that big marble top, and then all of this intricate carving that you wanted to make sure not to disturb.
Throughout this house, you will see this juxtaposition to period furniture and contemporary art. The clients had this wonderful collection, they added to it doing this house, and it was always the sense of modern and traditional. Sometimes we tried to find pieces like the bench that goes under the modern painting. It's Biedermeier, but it has a clean kind of modern feel to it. And I think some of the pieces of furniture that we chose have that sensibility. And it's also having different periods in a room. I don't want all things from the 18th century. I don't want all things from the 19th century. And I think it's exciting to be able to mix a Biedermeier bench with an 18th century English carved pine table.
And this client was very particular about how she didn't like a lot of plain woven fabrics. There are a few in the house, but she wanted things with pattern and texture. And it became something that was a challenge to just keep showing her more fabrics and making sure we were getting it right. And this lovely ikat on this Biedermeier bench is really wonderful and brings a little bit of color, but not too much, and plays nicely with the space. As you can see, this space is a great place to greet your guests. It has a nice feel to it, and it really sets the tone for where you are going into this larger hall.
So we're in the main gallery of the house. This large gallery goes to the library, opens to the living room, and moves to the back part of the house to the pantry and the kitchen. Michael Dwyer did an extraordinary job reinterpreting a great staircase by the architect David Adler that was built outside of Chicago. The marble was sourced for these beautiful black marble columns, and the floor is a typical black and white marble floor, but beautiful scale. The architecture, the proportion of every door trim, the cornice is so important. An architect like Michael has studied classical architecture. He understands the proportions. These are mathematically correct scale, and that's why places like the Institute of Classical Architecture, you study them, you draw them, you go back to the proper scale of moldings, proportions, because if you get them wrong, they can go very wrong if you don't know what you're doing.
One thing that really I remember about doing this space was getting the light fixtures right. The client was very particular. She did not want to see any light bulbs. Again, another thing I loved that she knew about herself. And so we tried for a long time to find what were these lights. And then she made a reference to the light fixtures at the Metropolitan Museum of Art. And so we found the man who made them and we copied them. And they're really quite beautiful. And now every time I go to the Met, it's all I can think about. And then we had to try and find what this light fixture was going to be in the stair. And we went through so many light fixtures. We looked at so many things, but the scale was really important. There would be things that we loved the look of and were really seemed beautiful and the essence of the space, but they were too small because this is a big space. And so we ended up having this light fixture made by the same gentleman who made the ones at the Met, and we came up with this design. And it's really quite a beautiful lantern that just helps to finish off the space. But we had the architecture and we knew that the lighting had to live up to that. And so often the scale of lighting can be incorrect, and it's a hard thing to get right. You have to study it, you have to draw it in, you have to really work on it. And we did in this space, and I remember that very vividly.
No, it's so important. It's why when you're working on a project, you need elevations. You need to be able to draw things in. Particularly a house that's being built, we're making these light fixtures before we have a space to even put them in. So it's that kind of training that I've had, that Elizabeth's had, where you understand how to do those things so when the puzzle comes together, all the pieces fit.
And again, in this space, another thing about scale was once we found these amazing tables at auction was a pair of mirrors above them. And we could not find them. I mean, we searched high, wide, everywhere. And so we had to have them made. But you know, we worked with a great dealer, vendor of ours, to have them carved and painted and used, you know, an antiqued mirror in them. And it was really important that they held up to the ceiling height and the scale of the architecture. And that's why it's so important to be working with the architect and know what is being built and what these spaces look like.
What was so interesting, we're always looking for the things that we want to be perfect for this house. And one time, we were about a month away from the installation. We didn't have these tables. We were desperate. We were like, could not find them anywhere. We looked and looked around the world for a pair of tables for this hall. And luckily, about maybe 2 months before the installation, these tables came up at auction. They were marble, white marble, classic. We've just felt they were the perfect introduction into this hall with the strong architecture and the strong kind of architectural quality of the tables. On the tables is something I'm very proud of. It's one of my lamps from Bunny Williams' home. We call it the brushstroke lamp. I started this company because I couldn't find lamps I liked and I couldn't find drinks tables and bedside tables. So I started a whole company, and these are our famous brushstroke lamps. I always want my lamps to be in unusual design and also to have beautiful bases, because I think that just elevates the quality of the lamp. And then the client has been collecting these wonderful pieces of Picasso pottery, and it's this mixture of blue and white Delft, Picasso pottery, a contemporary lamp that makes you have to stop and look at each piece individually. The other thing that's fun when you're looking for things is that I always wanted a pair of benches here because I thought, oh, you can sit if there's a lot of people, but what were the benches going to be? And the contemporary art, I knew there would be these beautiful big photographs, and I didn't know what they were at the time, but when I found these Anglo-Indian ebonized benches, I think, again, they almost have a clean, modern look to them, though they have a lot of interest. And the black benches on the black and white floor were so excited when we found those.
Yeah, and then we had to figure out what fabric to put on the cushions, and we went through a lot of different options. And when we talked about this red, I loved the client said, oh, it's like a lipstick red, and I think about that a lot, that lipstick red cushion in here with the black and white floor.
What was exciting, of course, about this hall is the wonderful curve of the end of the hall with the black columns. And we had the black columns, the black and white floor, and then it was time to think that we needed a carpet to go up this curved staircase. I always want carpeting on a staircase because I think it's safer. And we came up with this custom pattern, which is almost African in design. It's contemporary, but the way it meets the black and white floor is so interesting because it's not just a traditional carpet that you would find any place, and it had to be laid out and worked on the design to fit the curved staircase.
Mm-hmm. And that's when you're doing something custom, again, takes lots of samples, lots of time, lots of patience, and when you get it right, it's great and it sings, but this is something you need to learn and really practice over time as well. Now we're in the formal living room. This room has 2 seating groups, and I'll let Bunny explain that.
I think in a large room, I like to break the room up because I find it more comfortable if 4, 6, 8 people can talk together. We wanted this room not too full of furniture, so we did just a pair of sofas with an ottoman in front of the fireplace, and this group has a sofa, so 2, 4, 6 people are very comfortable sitting there. The room is based on nice, big, comfortable, upholstered furniture that gives a weight to the room, and then the other furniture is lighter weight with legs. I think you want to always have a balance of upholstery, openness, so that there's an airiness to the furniture and the way it sits in the room.
Mm-hmm. And it's great because it's right off the formal dining room, and for larger entertaining you can always bring in some of those beautiful dining room chairs. One thing that a lot of people have asked us about this room is, why is there no rug? The client did not want one, and had a very particular vision about the floors, and so that it's slightly unusual to not have one in your living room, but it's really beautiful, and the color of the floor and the pattern of the floor are really kind of the showcase piece, which when you walk in, which is what she wanted.
Also, having no rug gives the room an airier quality. It feels more contemporary in a funny way with no rug.
Off of the marble floor, this wood is softer, right, and gives a different feel, and so you do feel that coming into the living room sense when you get in here. So the client does, as I've mentioned before, does not like a lot of plain fabrics, and so we had to incorporate a lot of designs, textures, and really started with this sofa that has a slight tone-on-tone pattern, and then built off that and layered it. And when you can do that successfully, you get a really warm, cozy look. And this chintz, everyone was in love with from day one. It's repeated on the other side of the room, and so it's nice to have it on both sides to give this continuity. We found this great kind of almost one-of-a-kind ikat to go on this pair of chairs. And this fabric, which is now discontinued and we wish there were more of, is so wonderful because it's a linen and it's a pattern and it's got the 2 colors. So there's a formality to the design, but the linen keeps it kind of country house weekend in the Hamptons feel, but it works so well with the other pieces in the room.
I think when you're mixing patterns, which we love to do, you're mixing the scale. So you have a floral chintz, you have a floral pattern. So I wouldn't put another floral pattern with it. What we do is, this is more of a damask pattern, which brings out some of the colors, but they're not a perfect match. But it's the different shape of pattern that works together. And then the icots are another shape, but if you look, the tonality of them is together, it works really well together. So there's a real madness to the fact that there's a lot of patterns in the room, but it's a discipline of how you combine them. It's not just any old thing. We really have to make there be a harmony of color and actually different scales to make all the patterns work.
There's a certain level of restraint when you really look at it. And we also love what we call found fabrics, fabrics that look like maybe you found them on a trip shopping in India, and so we like to mix those in, and it's successful.
We have a closet of found fabrics in the office that we're always going back to, so that it sort of takes what I call the decorator look out of it. It's a little bit more spontaneous.
Yep. When you're selecting blue for your own home, you have to look at it in the space with that lighting, because things change drastically. Even we had looked at this blue sample out here before the paneled walls were in. We had looked at it numerous times. But once the paneled walls came in, the windows were in, it changes. And so you have to look at it in all those different times of day, and make sure you really like it, because the blue will pick up the other tones and the light from outside and change.
I happen to love blue. I use it a lot. People refer to it as bunny's blue. What's interesting, if you say blue, what do you think of as blue? Do you think of the sky? Do you think of a swimming pool? Do you think of navy blue? Blue's got like a million varieties of blue. I think blues that work in a home have a soft quality. There's usually a little bit of green in the blue, and it has a bit of gray. It's not too intense. So when you look at this blue and you look outside, maybe the sky is this color sometimes. It works so well with the green lawn outside. So it's a color that is, blue is everywhere. I mean, and I always go back to nature with colors. And you've got lots of different blues. If you're in Florida, you can have a much stronger blue because the light is so intense. But in this light, you want a medium blue. And I think a dark navy blue room could be depressing. So we're always looking for this blue that has a clarity but isn't too sharp, and usually it'll have a little bit of green in it. If you're going to have a room that's comfortable, you really need to have tables around you that serve a purpose for what's needed. So we have little drinks tables, we have a coffee table that you could put the hors d'oeuvres on, and we have low contemporary tables on either side of the sofa. When you do this, then you need standing lamps because the table's too low to put a lamp on, but you get your light. And I like, when I'm sitting on a sofa, I like my light to be at eye level. I don't want it too low. And this room has eye level light, and then it has sconces around it. Lighting big rooms like this is one of the most difficult things. And what I loved about this client, which most don't, she did not want hi-hats. And when we get into this debate and the lighting expert is hired, and I admire them, but they want to put lots of hi-hats in a room. And this client was adamant, no. So we were able to do it with sconces around the room and soft lighting. So it makes the light, and a chandelier in the center to help light the ceiling. And it's a warm, really welcoming light at night.
We really sit down and talk about the project from the beginning. We've met with the client, but we talk about what's the vision, what do we see here? What's the goal? And then we start pulling things, and sometimes it's, we start pulling images for inspiration, or a fabric or a color that might start to give us a feel or a tone. And then we really start shopping, which is something I think Bunny and I are both very good at, and looking for those pieces. But, you know, looking for things that are unique and not everyone can find. And that doesn't mean expensive. It does not have to be expensive. But, you know, really the thrill of that hunt and finding those unique things that make a room, you know, have the character and the personality that we're looking for.
I think the more interesting things that you have in a room that in some ways have a variety make you study the room. You can't take it all in just in one moment. I think there's so many rooms that you walk in and you kind of just say, okay, I got it. Got 4 white sofas, a big coffee table, and I'm out the door. This is a room, and this whole house, I think you'll see, takes some depth of looking at it. And it also, there's a term I love, which is called objects of desire. I always think that you want to buy, everything you buy for your house, whether it's expensive or inexpensive, should be something you desire, that you want to keep. It's not disposable. It's something that, you know, you may have an apartment, but next time you're going to have a house and it may move to another room. But we need to have things that inspire us. And I think in this project, you'll certainly see wonderful pieces that are unique and special. And Elizabeth and I have a wonderful time hunting for those. And you have to go look. You have to go shopping. You have to travel. You have to go in and see them in situ, in person. A picture doesn't do them justice.
It's very true. We always say in the office that when you're starting out at Bunny's, Bunny always asks, have you sit in it? Have you seen it? Have you smelled it? Have you tasted it? You know, all of these things, because it's so important. You know, a scale of a chair, you know, is not what it looks in a photo. And, you know, these are things you learn working with someone. So here we are on the other side of the room, the second seating group. And this is where the chintz is used on both of the sofas. We had repeated it on the other side of the room to give that continuity on a chair. We found this great big ottoman, which just gives it a little bit more of a relaxed feel. You know, it's a place you can put your feet up, someone feels okay sitting on. And so when you are entertaining, it gives you more seating, but it also keeps it in a formal room like this, gives you a little bit more informality.
It's a great place for the books, and also if you're entertaining, you can put the tray on it with hors d'oeuvres. The chimney breast in this room is very architectural. It's a panel. This whole room is a proper paneled room, and so the mantle is really a part of the paneling, except for the big, beautiful black Belection molding that frames the opening of the fireplace. This is very typical in a lot of traditional architecture. Sometimes you see a room that has a separate mantle, but sometimes you see a room where it's a paneled room and the Belection molding becomes a part of it. Over the fireplace in the panel, we found this beautiful Georgian English 18th century mirror, but it had been painted white, which you do find a lot of Georgian furniture that has this white paint, which I love about it because it gives it, it's not as grand as gold, and it gives it a beautiful, warm, lighter, fresher quality. Sometimes when you start a project, you really never know exactly what you're going to find. And as we are hunting, all of a sudden an auction came up, and this wallpaper was being auctioned off. And I suggested to our client that the dining room would be just extraordinary with this Chinese wallpaper. This is an 18th century Chinese wallpaper. And if you look at it closely, today the reproductions, which are beautiful, are painted on strips, so they're easy to roll up. If you look at the painting of this, it's almost as though that's all one panel. One tree, the tree branch moves over the paper. So there's you know that this was hand painted, probably painted for a room someplace. It was taken off. there was almost enough to do this room.
There was, yeah. No, I mean, we had to patch a little bit of it together. We had it restored by John Nalawala and Jim Francis, and they did an amazing job. And you know, they did it in their studio, and then they came out here and did a lot of things on site where they kind of blended some things together. You know, it was an old paper, so there was some damage and some restoration needed. They even, there's a couple places you can look and see, if you look very closely, cut out some small butterflies and a few flowers from what was remaining from the remnants of the paper and glued them in places to just kind of cover up maybe some imperfections and some things that had worn over time. And you know, it's those kind of vendors and people you start working with that have these really amazing skills and can take something like this to the next level.
We were able to find these chairs, which are actually sort of 1950s copies of Regency chairs. I always love this period of chairs, and I love black chairs in a room. There's something about having black chairs, particularly with a wood table. So you have the contrast of the finish of the chair to the wood table.
And I love this pink on the chairs and how it brings out the pink in the wallpaper. It's just so fun. And with this brown and white modern rug, it's, you know, again, it's adding those like little playful touch of modernity. And when we started talking about the concept of this room with the paper, you know, I said to Bunny, I said, what kind of rug are you seeing? And she said, it should be more modern. There should be a playfulness to it. And so we had this rug made for the space, and just that graphic brown and white quality of it is really fun against this antique wallpaper.
And then finding this incredible merino chandelier, huge scale, again, great scale for this room, the high ceilings, but it's not overwhelming because of its simplicity, and the color is so beautiful and soft and gives off beautiful, beautiful light at night.
And again, here we had to have another couple extra extensions made to give it the height for this room. But when you're working with, you know, really great vendors, they can match that antique Murano and make those pieces.
And the client had one thing that I'm always thinking about: how many people are you going to have for dinner? And what I loved about the client is they said, I want to have this room that I can have just my family. So the dining table is on the small side, so it's very comfortable for 4 or 6 people. And then there's a big top that can go on it for many other people. But I often think sometimes people tend to put too big a table in a room that they don't use, because somebody would come in and say, this table's not big enough for this room, but it's more intimate for the usual dinners, which are 4 to 6 people.
We love a round table in a square room like this. The geometry is really beautiful. And it's, you know, as Bunny was saying, it's not a table that extends, it stays round, and you can put the round top on it, you can still easily get around it. To have an oval table in this room could be awkward. You could be running into the fireplace or the other furniture, but this really works well. And again, this is where you sketch things out on your floor plan and you experiment with it before you purchase the piece.
One of the most extraordinary pieces of furniture in this house is a table that actually the client saw in a window in an antique shop on Park Avenue. And this is French, it's 18th century, incredible carving. But again, the fact that it's got this original white worn paint with this 4,000-ton marble top. But it's so rare to find a table in this condition that somebody hasn't repainted, restored, tried to fix it. The carving is all there, but the fact that it has its original beautiful, beautiful faded patina in the paint. I couldn't reproduce this paint and I have great artisans. It's probably the hardest thing to do. So when you have it with the original paint on it, it's very, very rare. And it's also the lightness of the white painted. I felt like it was like a garden. And this room with the wallpaper sort of has a garden theme to it. And on top of the table is this incredible collection of contemporary faience, of vegetables, the cabbage, the asparagus, beautiful. And then these things often can be moved to the dining table when they're setting the table, but they can come over here and be a wonderful collection of just one thing. And it's combined with the blue and white china that's around the room on the base of the table, the big Delft charger here. So it's a mixture of this modern contemporary faience with the antique china that, again, I think is an interesting collection, makes it an interesting collection.
You know, it's so fun to come back and visit these projects that we've installed, and there's so many memories, and it's, you know, amazing to see a piece like this again, because it's a really important piece, and there's not many that exist like this. But then I also remember the stress of moving it and the 20 minutes it took to lift that big piece of marble, and, you know, holding my breath and, you know, being with them each step of the way as it came into this house. You know, you had to get the base in first and then bring the marble in, and those poor guys, I mean, you know, I said, you need a break after this, but you know, those memories that you make and that you remember about these pieces add to also the fun parts of finding them. And there's just so many of those as you walk throughout the house for me.
So different sensibility than the living room. In this room, we wanted a traditional mantle to go into this paneled room.
Yeah, and so we looked for an antique mantle, which has its challenges itself, because you have to make sure the size is right, the height, the opening for the firebox. You have to constantly be sending everyone that you find to the architect, making sure he agrees with the dimensions, scaling it in for the client. You know, these are a big purchase. But what's wonderful about antique mantles, and we use a lot of them throughout our projects, is that you get some really beautiful stones that you don't see anymore with newer mantles. I mean, this green and how the color of it varies and kind of becomes this neon green here, and the carving on it and the story it tells. And so, you know, when we found this one, we knew, and we knew it would look great in this room with this paper.
And it's also interesting that this is one of the first things you have to find, because when the room is being designed, you have your elevations, you have an approximate size that you're looking for, and then when you find it and everybody approves that it scales in perfectly, then they can build the fireplace, make the opening, make the flue work. If you don't have this in the beginning, you often have the problem where they build an opening and then you can't have it high enough because the chimney was built the wrong way. So those are things that you have to think out in the very beginning.
Yes, this is what we shop for early on, for sure.
And we also, when we found this mirror, wanting this room to have this garden feeling, this again is a English, but it's carved branches, it's gilded, but it's like twigs carved in a circle. And they were like, it was the perfect scale and the perfect sort of atmosphere for this room that has a garden-y feeling to it.
And this just connects back to something that we talk about a lot, which is finding pieces that are unusual and stand on their own and that you love. And we loved it, and the client loved it, and it's unusual. You know, it's not just a typical rectangular mirror up there, and it gives the room more for you to look at and more personality.
So in this room, again, what we did do is we did do some wall washers in the ceiling for light so that the wallpaper would be lit up. They slant only to the wall. They don't go down into the room, but they help at night and they're dimmed, but it helps to highlight the paper because we don't have a lot of downlights. The chandelier has lights, and then we have the sconces to help light the fireplace, chimney breast, and then on the console tables there's hurricanes with candlelight.
We had these window treatments custom printed so that the design is at the bottom and then also at the top at the valance. This, you know, extraordinary wallpaper, we wanted something that was a little bit more restful, but we needed some pattern. We needed something, you know, to bring some interest. And what I love about this is that it almost looks like embroidery. It looks like an Indian embroidery. And, you know, it took a lot of samples to get it right. And on this beautiful silk, and it just has a luxurious feel, and it's subtle, so it's not screaming you in the face when you come in, but there's a real couture quality to it.
For every project that we do, we're always looking at the windows of how are you going to control light? Is there a window shade? Are there sheer curtains? Are there over curtains? If a lot of people say, I don't want any curtains, then you often have to build the shade into the window frame, because just like this room, you would have to, when the sun is pouring in, have to have some way of controlling the light. So we do spend a lot of time on every project figuring out how to control light at the windows. One of the things that I'm most proud of in this project is this incredible mixture of tradition and modern. This is, to me, what our firm, what Elizabeth and I so believe in, is that you can have beautiful traditional furniture, but you mix it with contemporary art. I mean, here we are with probably my favorite Joni Mitchell behind us, in a room with chintz. Now, people who collect modern art would go, oh, dear me, what are you doing? But I think it's what makes a room timeless, and I think that this house, hopefully when someone walks into it, they won't think, number one, who did it, or when it was done. It stands the test of time, and it makes you look at things in a different way because of the juxtaposition of different things. Mm-hmm. The other thing about a project like this is that we often set out and we work closely with the architect. We do the furniture floor plan, so we know what we're looking for, but we don't know what we're going to find. And the collecting for this house, the things that we bought, literally were done over the entire course of the project.
Years.
Years.
Yeah.
A lot of clients want to say, okay, show me the room. And I'm saying, I'm going to show you the feel, but I really don't know what a table's going to be until we find it. And it's wonderful when we have clients like that, because then you can reach out and find more unusual things. Mm-hmm.
And that takes time. You know, we'll often be shopping, you know, we'll be very close to installation and we're like, we still don't have this one table because we're holding out for that perfect table.
The tables in the entrance hall, literally, we didn't have them, and they came up from auction in New York about a month before we needed them. And I every night I was saying, Elizabeth, we've got to find these tables, but I couldn't find the ones I just thought would be perfect. And
they needed to be the right scale.
They needed to be the right size,
they needed to be the right
scale,
the right color, and the right feel for that space to hold up. Yeah, and that's really exciting when you find those things. And we were very lucky with this client to, you know, there was a shopping trip to England. That doesn't always happen, but she was very interested and wanted to do that. And her being involved and going on that trip and seeing those things in person, it also gives them appreciation for how hard it is to find some of these things. And so it's an education on all sides. We're now in the library, which is a pine room consisting of 3 spaces. The client was very particular about wanting these 3 spaces, but to have them all connected. So one of them is her office, which is where we are currently standing. And this is where she comes to do her work, make her phone calls, and meet with people when she's out here.
And the center part is for conversation. It's a wonderful place to sit, read. You have a sofa where you've got your back to the light. It's a marvelous reading area. And the third section is a place to watch television. So you frankly can just live in this work. You can watch a movie, you can read, or you can work. And it's a wonderful place. Having these walls that come in break up this very long space, make it more intimate. So you really have 3 small rooms in a very big space, and it also gives you a wonderful place for your book collection.
The client wanted a library ladder, and so we had one custom made. Funny, it's hard to find someone who will make a custom ladder for insurance reasons, but we found someone who did it. It's very sturdy and it's really wonderful. It has a shelf. She has an extensive book collection and uses it, and so, you know, can get up there, pull the book off, and read and get what she needs from that. But this was a big project to figure this one out.
Because most antique library ladders are not, they're very rickety. I mean, you need two people to hold them if you're going to go up to the top to get a book off the top shelf. So we looked and looked and looked for old ones, but they really weren't safe. So again, this, I think, is why it's hard to someone who will make you a ladder for insurance purposes. But this one's very sturdy and perfect for the room.
And we looked at a lot of images to find the right style and shape, and referenced quite a few books.
And again, with the sort of yin and yang that we've had through this whole space, this very traditional pine room, we had these modern dory rugs, cotton dory rugs made, again, sort of a garden pattern, almost like a trellis, that is a traditional design, but made in to have a contemporary feel to it. So there's a wonderful, always kind of this mixture of the brown and off-white prints with the contemporary rug.
Yeah, and I just love this rug too, because it's this cotton dory that has also kind of a Southampton, we're out at the beach, and it kind of brings the formality down a little bit. And one other thing about this space that was so hard to achieve was the finish of this room. And it's something Bunny can speak to through many years of her career. Getting wood finishes correct is really difficult. And we went through a lot of samples.
And pine often the old pine, which was beautiful, had very small knots. Today, if you just say, I want a pine panel room, you get this sort of what we call knotty pine, which nobody wants. So it was finding the right source for the pine and then making a finish, because pine is a very light wood. It's kind of rough. So that took a lot of steps. So you don't want it too yellow, you don't want it too gray, don't want it too dark. It's all those things that go into a custom project like this one is.
One thing I'd love to point out, and this is where attention to detail can get you another job with a client, is that so we had to figure out exactly where the leg of this desk was going to go and where the plug was, so that we could bring the cords for the phone and all of the chargers down the leg, tie the cords so you don't see them, and cut a hole in the carpet, and everything lined up perfectly at the outlet. And these are things you have to decide ahead of time, because you have to make sure that it all works and it's in the electrical plan.
I think I knew I wanted to be an interior designer when I was a teenager, when my parents took me to the Greenbrier Hotel in West Virginia, which Dorothy Draper had just done. I didn't know who Dorothy Draper was. I really didn't even know what it was to be an interior designer, but I went to a place that was absolute magic. And so it was always in the back of my head that this is what I think I'd like to do. I went on to a junior college that had an interior design program. I came to New York. I worked with a great antique shop called Stair & Company for several years, where I learned about furniture, the decorative arts, and then I was very lucky to get a very beginning job as a secretary to Albert Hadley at Parish Hadley. And I was there for over 20 years. I say that I went to the University of Parish Hadley, and what was extraordinary about that experience is not only did I understand interior design, but architecture. And I think that that's one of the strengths that both Elizabeth and I believe in, is working closely with the architect on every detail of a room that we're then going to decorate. It's every tiny little decision that has to be made. And then I started my own firm in 1988. And luckily, Elizabeth came in as an intern.
I grew up with a mother who took me to, old homes and antiquing. Sometimes, a bit begrudgingly, I went. But this was really starting to form my mind about these things and what I liked. And, I would decorate my dolls' houses, and I was very into what my room looked like. But it was something I never really thought of was a career. And when I came out of college, I started to explore, what do I really like? What are my passions? And so I moved to New York, and I went to New York School of Interior Design. And during that time, I interned for Bunny. And there I really learned that it's not just about, the furnishings and the colors, but this architectural element that Bunny speaks of is so important. It's something that Bunny does so well, and I have seen her do so well through the years, and that I've really learned from. And, to sit down with an architect and talk about how is a room laid out, and what does the cornice look like, and, get the scale of all of those things. When that part is successful, it just makes your interiors better. And I've been so lucky to be able to work under Bunny and to learn those things. And I think there's a real, I'm biased, but I think that there's a real strength there in doing that. And that I hope we can encourage more people to do that and really learn under someone. You get to make your mistakes under someone. You get to work on projects like this that you are not going to start out working on a project like this, but to work under someone on something like this and learn is huge and will only make you better in your career. And I've been so fortunate.
I also think one of the most important things that anybody who's interested in interior design cares about, they have got to travel. They have got to go look and be in spaces. You cannot learn or be top in your field if you're just going to look at a computer and think you can Pinterest a picture. The floors in this room, how many times I've been to France, look at Parquet de Versailles floors, the colors of them, how they're laid out. It's things like this that take a lot of study. You've got to be passionate about it, and the more you travel and the more you see and the more pictures you take in spaces that you look at are going to be indelible in your brain and will come be a part of the projects that you do. So we decided in this center space to put the furniture, cozy furniture by the window where you would sit and read, and really have a big round table that was easy to walk around, because this really is the traffic pattern from the office space to the reading space to the TV space. And we were able to find this beautiful Biedermeier table. It's burled wood, wonderful base, and big claw and animal feet, which we love animal feet. Very strong table that fit beautifully, and the color of this wood with the pine looked really very special.
So the client really wanted a place where she could come and enjoy her books, and this is just what a great place to be. There's this beautiful garden beyond, a wonderful view. You can see who's maybe coming and going from the front door, who might be popping in for a visit, and you could take a nap here. And the thing is, it's a large room with tall ceilings, but there is something about this seating group at the window that feels intimate and comfortable and cozy, and a place you really do want to curl up with a good book.
And again, we were able to mix patterns in this room. The chairs are an unusual toile because it has a kind of blue background with the brown, and then the curtain fabric is another brown print fabric that's almost like an Elizabethan pattern that's printed on the linen. And as Elizabeth says, it's so nice to have linen fabrics, cotton fabrics in a house like this, a formal house, but the cotton and linen fabrics relax it.
Mm-hmm. And the center pillow on the sofa is from one of our office found fabrics from our magic cabinet we have of all of these found fabrics through our travels.
I think that everybody talks about styling a bookcase. There are bookcases that are simply styled, and there are bookcases of people who read their books and use them. And this is the case in this house. And what you have to do when you do that is that you have to put the like subjects together. So the garden books go together, the history books go together, the antique books, whatever your collection of books are, should be together so you can find them, which is very important. And then you do want to, this room is not done alphabetically. It's done really more by section. If you were doing it alphabetically, you could have a very tall book and a low book. So I tend to then group the books a little bit by height, the bigger books on the bottom. And what's fun is to leave some spaces to put your collection of some photographs or an object, whatever you might collect. What I don't like is to go into a room full of books and all they put are pictures on them, because they're for books. They're not for, can be for the occasional picture, but not filled with just family pictures. So I think how you use your library. Some people have books, they're never going to read them, they're never going to look at them, but I want a library to look real. That's why I would never do a color coordinated library. Some people want all the red books together, all the blue books together. Well, that to me isn't about a library.
No. And one thing we love, this is just a hot tip, there are these plastic, very clear, thin bookends that we have found, and we love them because they go away, you don't see them, but they, you know, when you're using your books and you're moving things in and out, things need to stay upright and not constantly be falling over. And so we use these all the time, and they're really wonderful and not super expensive, and they help showcase your library and keep things organized, but also allow you to put some beautiful things between them that you might be a little worried about the books leaning up against. And so they're really quite useful.
Decorating is a challenge all the time. I don't know that I'm stumped as much as there's certain things I have to work around. They're often architectural problems. They're spaces that don't really lend itself to the floor plan. They're too long, too narrow. They're problems that you come up with that aren't ideal. You can have a room that's not ideal. You can have a client that's not ideal. You can have a lot of things. I think that what you really need to do is figure out how to solve those problems. They're not easy, and how you're going to make that awkward space work. What could happen here? Sometimes the relationship with a client, you have to build that relationship. I find that over the years, as I get to know my clients and they get to trust me and I spend time with them, the whole relationship becomes much more enjoyable for everybody.
Yeah, Bunny's so right about that sense of trust and getting them to trust you, and also about solving problems. I often, I walk to work every day, and when I do, I go, okay, what problem is going to be facing me when I get in? Because there is a lot of problem solving in design. Whether it was the call that this room wasn't the right color, or, or something has broken and how do we fix it? Or, someone mismeasured and we can't get something in the elevator, in a New York building. There's all these logistical things that happen too that you're constantly trying to problem solve.
The special order fabric that you've been waiting 5 months from, and the job is almost finished, and it's being hand printed and it comes in and it's wrong. I mean, there's always a problem. What we become sometimes is just extraordinary problem solvers.
It's very true. The installation where it rains and the moving truck gets stuck in the mud pit in the front. And there's just so many things that have come up through the years. It makes for really good storytelling. But I also think that a good designer is a good problem solver and knows how to work with other people to get things done. And you have to be a good people person because it's all about people.
And also all the people that we work with, not just the clients, but every vendor, from the painter, the upholsterer, the contractor, everyone, they are on your side and they help you solve these problems. That's what makes incredible relationship.
And it's it's something Bunny has instilled in her business from day one. Is about making sure you treat everyone with respect, and when you do that, you gain everyone's trust, and they are on your side. And I think we have a very good reputation for that, and it's also why we're able to provide such a good service, because we have so many trusted vendors who help us figure out some of these problems.
For me, the best compliment is, what a comfortable room. And I don't want anybody to walk into a space I've done and said, oh, Bunny Williams did this. Because I think it should be a room that's more classic, that isn't just about decoration. It's decorated, but it's calm, and it's more, what I really want it to be is inviting and livable.
And along those same lines, we really use the home. Like, wow, that's what you want. I think Bunny and I both have a really strong sense of what home is. Home is very important to both of us, family, friends. And to hear that a client is really using their home and that they're having friends over, their family comes, that's just like, I get chills thinking about that. And also, Our client here, when we did this installation, she walked in the house and hadn't seen it. It was all put together. And she looked at us and she said, "You have created my dream house." And what's better than that? To be able to do this with them, it's very personal. And it's a real treat to see them, move into the space and use it. So in this room, where you're going to be primarily watching television, we wanted to make sure that the sofa was comfortable, a place you could really fit a bunch of people, which it can. We used a linen fabric with a print on this sofa. The great thing about this fabric was it has this amazing border that we were able to use around the base of the sofa. And you need to think about these things when you're laying out how a piece is going to be upholstered. Can you use the borders? How do you trim it? And all of those details, because when you do, you get a really successful piece. And so that's what we did here. There's a beautiful Anglo-Indian table that was found on the travels to England that I love this graphic top on it and the beautiful base. These chairs are really wonderful because they're easy to move. And then there's a really large chair and ottoman where if you can also move that around. It's on casters and for more viewing, but you could also plop there and pull one of the books off of the shelf and read in this corner with that lamp. This room is multifunctional. It's very cozy in the evenings and the winter months.
I love coffee tables that have a shelf below. This one was very interesting. I'm not sure when it was made because they didn't have period coffee tables, but it looked like it was made out of a piece of antique parquet with the brass columns and the shelf below. So then you can put books and things underneath and use the top if you want to come in with coffee after dinner or hors d'oeuvres. It makes a great coffee table.
Yeah.
And again, in this room, we mix patterns. There are 3 different patterns here, but because they all have a different scale, that's how they all work together. You've got a little bit more geometric floral, a stripe, and then the bigger pattern at the window. So the tonality of them work even though they're very different pattern.
There's a harmony for sure.
Sometimes I think that designers can get obsessed with pairing things up. And in this room, I like the fact that it's not a pair of lamps and it's not even a pair of tables. I think that sometimes when you've got pairs of lamps, pairs of tables, pairs of everything, it gets boring. So I think it relaxes the room to not always have pairs everywhere. The sconces are the same because they're really more a part of the architecture. And you'll also notice in this space, we've used the same lighting as we have in the entrance hall because there were so many light fixtures. We thought it was calmer to just repeat the same style of ceiling light instead of having each one be different.
And you see them from the entrance hall as you walk into this space, which is really great. But back to these lamps, it's so fun to use ceramic lamps. We love them because they also add a little bit of color. Not everything has to be brass and wood, and finding these beautiful ceramic lamps with these glazes is something that really just adds another color and texture, and we love finding those and including them. Here we are in the butler's pantry of almost everyone's dreams, a place to store all your china and table setting things if you're into that, which Bunny and I definitely are. Again, the color in here was so important, and it's Bunny's favorite color, so I'm going to let her talk about that.
This is what I call, it's my neutral. A lot of people have beige. This is this gray-green color. It's very soft, and every single color you put with it looks wonderful. From blue to pink to lavender, because it's almost the color that you see outside all the time. It's a little bit like a faded leaf on the boxwood. It's just a beautiful color, and it's a warm color that I think works anywhere. Old houses always had pantries, and I think it's the one thing that today with new housing, maybe the architect doesn't know how important these rooms are. They're important for storage. They're a place to do flowers. I mean, you don't have to, it doesn't have to be this big, but I spend more time in my pantry than almost any place I can think. I do flowers there. You can have extra wash up for dishes. You can store china in it, your placemats, everything. And it's an incredible storage space for your dining room or your breakfast room. You can have trays, like if you want to make trays and go watch television in another room, where do you put those things? And I think there's so little thought to back of house, which older houses and bigger houses always had. So pantries are one of my favorite. I always go to an old house and I want to know where the pantry is because I just love them.
You know, and it's also so great. This room is right off the dining room. So for a home like this and a client who entertains, this is a great place to stage things. And, you know, if you have staff here, you know, this all, as Bunny says, back of house. And it's really serves a purpose. And when you're a New Yorker and you live in a small apartment or even a large apartment, there's not always a ton of storage. And so to have something like this in a weekend home where you may entertain and use it more is really just key. And you have to think about those things when planning a home.
One thing I love about this house is, though, it's a very formal house. One of my favorite things is the floor. And this is gray and white linoleum. It's big squares, and the fact that it's gray, these two sort of gray and white. It's the most practical floor because a tile floor, things break. If you drop it, a wood floor wears out. You know, so ceramic tile's too hard, stone's too hard. In old houses, you often found this vinyl floor, or you found cork, which makes a great floor in a kitchen because it's quiet and things, if they are dropped, don't fall. And the maintenance of this floor is so easy.
Yeah.
So
and there's something really chic about it, this gray and white patterned floor.
If I say to most people, oh, you should have a vinyl floor, they're like, what? And I'm like, trust me, they're just fabulous. And I think chic and practical and add a lot to the character of the room. And what's fun in a pantry is if you do have some glass spaces, so you can show, if you have good china, you can see it, know where it is. And some pantries are all glass. Some, like this one, is more covered up because it's not all china, it's also other storage.
This was a collection that the client had, but we helped her hang it. And, you know, one thing we haven't really talked about yet is hanging art and things like this, and how important it is to lay it out and think about it. You know, if you hung this any other way, it wouldn't be as interesting. But to see it as a collection like this makes such an impact. I mean,
and you often, we start out with the floor. We take all the pieces and arrange them on the floor, because that's when you can see there is a rhythm to this, even though they're different shapes. That's where you see the balance and the proportion. I do the same thing with art. If I'm hanging a wall that has a number of pictures, salon style, I lay it out on the floor and I move it around till I get the balance and the proportion correctly. And then luckily we have wonderful art installers, and they can measure it, because it has to be, it's laying it on the floor is the easy part. It's getting that up to the wall that's the harder part.
Because your eye will see if that is off, but it's really quite wonderful.
We often use or suggest using wood countertops in a pantry. Again, it's a soft surface. If this was marble, your glasses can chip, your china can chip, and when you, particularly around the sink, you use a marine varnish on it. You know, boats, think of all the boats that have wood everywhere near water, so it can be protected with a couple coats, quite a few coats of a marine varnish that goes on the wood. But again, it's warm, it makes the room warm, and it's also soft for the china and things that can be put on it.
So this light fixture is custom made. The client knew the kind of look she wanted, and we helped guide her to this. And you know, we did not get it right at first. We had to really scale this, sketch it, do mock-ups and try over and over again. Because the challenge with this room is that the ceiling is so high, but the room isn't particularly, it's a big pantry, but for the height of the room, it's not extremely wide. And so we had to make sure the scale was just perfect.
I think that if you're a young person wanting to go into design, as Elizabeth said, go work for somebody. Get into an office. Understand it's not just that you might have the best taste or think you do. You have to understand how the projects are run, how it starts from the ground up. So I would really give people the greatest advice I could say is go and try to intern, work for somebody, and try to find somebody whose work you like, somebody who you feel that their work, you respond to what they do, and you'll learn a lot from them. If you're doing your own house, again, I think that you have to sit back and pretend you're the decorator. You have to figure out how you're going to arrange the furniture, and maybe you do your own little plan, measure out your rooms, treat yourself. There's so many people who are talking about this, that you do the plans for yourself, and you kind of try to figure it out, and then you create a shopping list, you know what you're looking for, and often rooms can't be done all at one time. But if you buy the things in the right scale, you buy your sofa, your coffee table, you can keep adding to it, and that's what makes decorating fun.
This whole thing back of working for someone, it's so important as for all the reasons we've spoken about, but also there's this huge business side to what we do. There are, proposals, there's budgets, there's all of this stuff that you have to learn how to do, and you can really learn that from someone else, and you'll make less mistakes. But, and if you're getting started in this industry, go get involved in the industry, because there are so many things that are available to learn from if you can't afford to travel or don't have the time to travel. There's so many talks. There's so many great organizations like the ICAA who are providing, educational, trips to your local museum. And so there are a lot of ways to get involved. And I know sometimes we all get bogged down in, I'm busy, I'm working, I don't have time for these things, but there's a lot of resources out there. And if you're doing your own home, I love what Bunny said, do your own floor plan, and look at things, really look and try to explore what you love. Because if you buy the things you love, doesn't have to be expensive, you will end up with a home that you enjoy coming home to and that you want to have your family and friends there.
My home is a place that I want to be more than I want to be any other place. It's where I feel protected. I want to have my friends there. It's a space I want to be in. John, my husband, and I have an apartment in New York. We have a home in Connecticut. I've had that house for 40 years. And I've changed it. When I first bought it, I couldn't afford to put furniture in the living room. So it's been done over a period of time. Furniture's been bought for one room, and when I could upgrade, it got moved to someplace else. But for me, my home is really where it's a part of my soul. And whether we're there alone, whether I'm just there with the dogs, we love to entertain. It's a place, and it's a place actually that people love to come to, because I think that it does have this soul of a place that is comfortable, and we are very generous. I think you need to be hospitable. You need to be open and share your home. But I can tell you, I never go to a hotel that I don't say, I wish I were at home.
I very much agree with a lot of what Bunny said, and I think it's a lot about family for me, and that means so many things. That's family you're blood related to, and maybe not, and some that are the family you have created. And so it's about having people in that space. Bunny and I both love to set a beautiful table and entertain. And being around the things that bring me joy. And I think that that's what we want to bring to everyone. And when you have that sense of home and that place you feel safe, living in New York City, I love to be able to come home, put on my comfy clothes and be in the space that my husband always jokes, you love being home. And I'm like, yes, because I've created this place and it's my sanctuary. And, that's success.
Hello, Homeworthy. It's Ramona. Welcome to my home in Southampton. Come on in.
You're watching Homeworthy, where we believe every home has a story.
Hi, my name is Ramona Singer. You probably know me from Roni on Bravo. I was on it for 13 years. And right now we're at my favorite happy place, my home in Southampton, that I've literally have for 30 years. Most of you know I'm self-made. So before I was even engaged or married or found the man I wanted to be with, I knew I really wanted a home in New York City and a home in the Hamptons in Southampton, because I just love it out here. So once I got married, I started looking for a house. Well, actually, before I got married, and my ex-husband said, well, why are you buying a house now? Wait till we're married. So anyway, I found this house because I was biking with my girlfriend and in this neighborhood. And I wasn't even engaged yet. I was just dating Mario then. And I said, when I buy a house, I really want to buy a house in this area because it's private off the main road. And I said, this is where my daughter could learn, or son could learn how to bike ride. The carriage could be put around the pond. There's water here. And it's just so beautiful and pristine, close to the village, close to the ocean. It's just like the most beautiful setting that you could ever imagine in the world. It's just my happy place. When I come here, I just glow. When I first started coming to the Hamptons, I'd go to West Hampton Quag because it's a half an hour closer to the city. And then once I married my ex-husband, he said, well, I don't really want to be in Southampton. But I was always coming on Thursday nights, staying with my girlfriend in Southampton on the ocean and Flying Point Road. He would always have to come here. I always have we were always here Friday, Saturday, all the action and nightlife and everything, restaurants were in Southampton. So he said, okay, Southampton, I can deal with an extra 30 minutes. So when I renovated 4 years ago, I completely took out the marble and did full plank, 3-inch or 4-inch, I don't know how, full plank floors. And I made them this pretty color, which is like a gray beige. The fireplace I already had, that cabinet I already had, I changed the stonework to this beautiful color. It's a grayish color. I used the same granite or marble stone in the kitchen, but a different color wave. And so it's kind of traditional. You have these urns I had, they were green. I had them spray painted white. This is an original door that was made into a coffee table, and I kept that here in the house. I didn't want to go white sofa, so I kind of did a beigey cream color. Doesn't show so much dirt, and it looks a little warmer. I like to entertain, so if I'm having 30 people for dinner, I have 2 rooms entertaining, which I'll show you, that can fit 24 easy. Then this I put as a buffet. So everyone comes here to get the food. I don't do it plated, I do buffet style, then I do dessert here. So this table is very functional for entertaining, it really is. What I did also was, I love large mirrors. And this I had, it was originally gold, and I just had it painted the same color as the banister, that black-brown color. I like photography as art, so these are photographs that are artwork, which I love. And you see the one also over, that's a scene in Italy, which is beautiful. And what I did is I captured that kind of turquoise color with the glass underneath it, the 2 prints on the wall, the cushions. I just got these the other day. I love these. As you can see, I have also the turk accents in the pillows here and some other pieces to bring a little color into the room. Orange is always my favorite color, which you'll see outside. I have orange cushions, but I didn't want to do orange in here. I wanted something softer. And basically, a lot of times you do decor around the artwork. So I picked up the color in that photography artwork, which you can see is the aqua. What's amazing about this home is when you walk in, there's double height ceilings, and it's all glass and all windows, so even on the rainiest day, it gives off light and brightness. And each room is oversized, they each have high ceilings, and the best part is the primary suite or primary bedroom is the whole section of the house, totally separate from the other rooms. So you're in your own little world. So I can have guests all over, but I have separation and quiet in my own little area. It's just the layout is great. You have this big grand eating kitchen that has the TV and sofas and the dining room table and a huge kitchen counters, and oh my gosh, it's so great. And then a formal dining room. You have two beautiful bedrooms upstairs, en suite. I have a lower level, which has a gym, a pool table, another bedroom, another bathroom, a huge walk-in closet for me for all my clothes from Roni that I don't want to give up. And this house is just special. And then let's talk about the backyard, the landscaping. I planted every single tree and flower. I did the tennis court. The bocce court was already here. They used to call this party central. I love to entertain here all the time. I do it like breathing. I entertain like breathing. I make it look so easy because to me, it comes naturally. It's my favorite thing to do in the world. So this is where everyone hangs out. It's always the kitchen. And I totally took this down to the studs of the kitchen and redid it, though I did keep the green Viking stove. And the newest thing in interior design is do the backsplash the same as the countertops. And again, this is, the stone is not marble, but quartz, which is much more durable. And I didn't want to make this whole thing quartz, it would just be too much. So I did tile work out of marble, which matches the fireplace on the other side. And it's the same stone, but a different coloration as what we saw in the living room. I did a big microwave, 2 dishwashers. I love the wine cooler, which you see right here. Actually, I was able to keep this refrigerator before it was paneled in wood. I just did the steel, as you see here. I did everything throughout. I changed all the doors, all the hardware. This table, when I entertain, has another leave. So this has another leave underneath, so this can actually sit 12 people, and I have extra chairs. But this is where I have breakfast, and this is my favorite china. It's the Villeroy and Boch china, which is great for every day. I use it for every day, so it's set up for breakfast or lunch. This is where we are if we're not outside. And then over here, we have a seating area and the fireplace. And here you can see the floor-to-ceiling stone, which is really beautiful, which is the same stone but different coloration. As I said, it's the living room. You have the big screen TV, big coffee table, and it's just a very comfortable room to hang. What I love to cook. So whoever I'm with, they may be here hanging, but I can be here and we're all together. I could be cooking, but people are around me. Well, in the winter, my favorite dish I make is the herb chicken Provence, which is made with white wine and lemon and garlic because I can make it ahead of time and it's easy to serve. And then in the summer, my famous dish is my chicken teriyaki breast, and I grill it. This kitchen before had huge ceramic tile like you see in Italy. This counter was green marble. Everything was curved here, and it was like a beige type of wood. It had a different feeling. It had a stucco walls. It was, it had the backdrop tile was tile. The countertop was tile. It was very Tuscan looking. Now it's clean and contemporary and modern, and I love it much more. But the bones are the same. The bones of this house are remarkable. So as far as tips for table setting, I personally love cloth napkins, and then I like the placemat to complement the napkin holder. I like interesting glassware, so flowers always enhance, and candles. As you see, I have both here because it makes it very inviting. You know, when you eat and dine, you want to make it inviting, festive, and fun, whether it's just for yourself alone, for 2 people, or 8 or 10, 20 or 30. It was very interesting because I had my own company, as everyone knows, in the fashion business, and during the summer, it's really kind of dead. So I got a call from my girlfriend who's a doctor. She says, you know, I got this interesting phone call. They want to know if I have any patients or friends that live a high-end lifestyle, are social, married, career, children. She goes, the only one I could think of is you, Ramona. What do you think? Because they're doing a reality show about women like you. And I go, well, I don't know. Okay, let me just go for the interview. My daughter at that time wanted to be an actor. I said, okay, let me just do it. So I interviewed just for the fun of it because I was bored, never thinking I'd ever be on the show. So I did the interview, and all of a sudden they say to me, okay, Ramona, we want to send you a contract. We want you to do the show. And I had no intention to do the show. I just wanted the demo tape. I wanted to see how they captured my personality and my daughter. I said, well, if you send me the demo tape, then I'll let you know. They go, well, we can't do that. I go, well, then I can't consider the show. Hold on. Okay, where do we send it to? And they Federal Expressed it to me. I looked at it. I was charmed by what they captured. And I said, okay, I'll do the show. Then I realized, I don't want to do the show. It's just too much for me. And at Polo, when my daughter was away with her dad, they said to me, Ramona, why won't you do the show? I go, number one, it takes too much time. They go, oh no, lie number one. Oh no, once, twice a week, just for a little bit. And then I said, well, I'm a little older than these other girls and I don't do the charity benefits anymore for 200 people, 100 people. I do just private dinner parties at my home, anywhere from 10, 12, 20, 30 people. They go, great, we'll film that. I go, no, my friends will not want to be filmed. And then they go, but don't worry, we'll have enough to film. I go, no, I'll be boring. It'll be so boring. They go, Ramona, you're nothing but boring. Then this little light bulb went off in my head. I had just developed a website with my ex-husband called True Faith Jewelry. I said, if you're willing to promote True Faith Jewelry on the TV show, I will do the show. They go, we'll get back to you. And they ended up promoting it and deciding they would, did the show only to help my ex-husband's business, and it did definitely give him 7 figures extra in sales. Doing Roni was really interesting. I have no regrets, and actually helping him in his business helped me develop other businesses. I was the first housewife to go on HSN. I developed a Pinot Grigio, Turtle Time. So, though I did take on a little too much, and right now I do have my real estate license. I do a lot more consulting than the actual sales. And I'm just really enjoying my life. I'm really into my friends and people and golf and sports and tennis and hiking and biking and just living my best life. Well, the most recent one was when Luann, she wasn't drinking so much and she wanted, not to be in that situation. And when we're on Roni, we like to drink and party. So I decided to put her in what I call the lower level. She goes, what do you mean the lower level? It's the basement. But it's really the lower level because there's, grounds. You go right out to the lower level onto the main. But to me, that was the funniest part. She goes, oh, you're putting me in the lower level? Hindsight, I should have had Sonia sleep with me in my bedroom, put Luann in one of the bedrooms upstairs. But I thought, okay, keep her away from all the action and the noise and the partying. So this is the formal dining room. I have had so many Thanksgiving dinners, Christmas dinners at this table. My mother's last Christmas with us, she died of leukemia. I bought this special china, so this brings really great memories. This is beautiful china from London, England. It's called Mitten. And these are the pieces I purchased. So this is something I can pass on to Avery. So I have a lot of memories here. I just love these glasses. Originally, the room was burgundy and camel. That's why I had these glasses made, but they still work here. It's nice to mix color. Again, the windows are like large windows, like French doors. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4. It's very bright, and you see the trees outside, and it's just wonderful. I just love this room. It's really special. Many memories with this china in this room. If I didn't go into fashion, I'd go into home design or home construction. My New York City apartment, when I first moved in, I did all the renovations to make it look pre-war. Before I sold it, I had to make it look more contemporary, so I did a lot of different things to it. And I renovated this house. I love doing it. And I just take things from magazines, from other people's homes. I mean, the floor color here, I actually got at an open house in the Hamptons, and I loved the floor color that I had the builder tell me the floor color, and I actually used his floor person to do the floors. So I have very specific tastes. I know what I like, and I just get it done. It was fun doing it, and listen, I did all the renovations literally. They started right after Thanksgiving, and I was done by January. I mean, no one gets it done that fast. I mean, I did all the bathrooms, everything. Just don't ask. But I did it. So what's important to me is having a long dining room table such as this. But I don't want a deep one, because then if this is too wide, you can't talk across. So it was really difficult to find a table that was one piece. I found this in Restoration Hardware. So are the curtains, so are the chairs. They do a lot of great products. And I just wanted it gray because just gray is very soothing and calming. I brought in color with this painting. When I first bought the home, which was 30 years ago, it was totally different. It had more of a Tuscan villa feeling, and it had that whole furniture and whole look. And then about 4 years ago, after I renovated my apartment in New York City before I sold it, I would come here and I go, I gotta update this. So I was a contractor and designer, and I totally redid everything. I ripped out all the marble floors, I did all wood floors, I redid the kitchen. Because I entertained so much, I put in 2 dishwashers, a wine cooler, because you know I love my wine, and I just redid everything. I changed every single door, I gutted all the bathrooms. Wait till you see my master bath. It was always a large bathroom, but now it's beyond gorgeous. So yeah, I'm very proud of what I did. I decorated it all, I did all the bones are great in this house, and I just updated. I changed all the fixtures except for one. I kept the coffee table, which I'll talk about later. So certain things I kept, but everything else I changed. So it's a lot of restoration hardware, more contemporary, more modern. So now we're in this fabulous backyard that I just love. Every tree I planted, every flower I planted, this is just heaven back here, a slice of heaven. So here I'll sit if you want to be cool because it's under the shade, under the awning here. You walk out here, I entertain a lot. I just got these fabulous umbrellas because they keep you fully shade. Years ago, people wanted to be in the sun. No one wants to be in the sun now. Each table fits 8, so I can entertain 16 people easily here, which I love. I love to grill. So I'll set the table out here, either for 8 or 16 or 12 or whatever it may be. We do it all the time, especially lunches. And then this table will be like a buffet setup. We have the grill. And it's just simply beautiful. The pots I designed myself. The flowering pots are beautiful. We have a tennis court. I love to play tennis. It's sunken. This is an English rock garden. They brought in like 2 tons of boulders for it. Every single tree I built here, not built, I planted because I didn't want to see my neighbors. So now they're completely hidden on both sides. You can't, so it's very private, very private. These pots, they just were planted recently. So give it another month, they're gonna be just so full and alive. And I just love all the different colors, the yellow and the purple and the pink. It's just very vibrant and very special. I think it makes the area just more enhancing. Then I have the flowers here by the edge of the pool. But when I bought the house, there was no stone. So all this stone I put in, it's called Arizona stone or misty rose. Unlike the slate, it doesn't get hot. So that was important to me, that if you're in your bare feet, you're not having your feet burn off like you do with slate. So this is a bocce court, which is fun to do. Anybody can play it. It's especially great to play with a bottle of wine. And so we have a lot of bocce parties here. And we can do croquet here, beautiful pond view. And I love tennis, and I think I have the best tennis court in the Hamptons. It's Hartrue, and it's pristinely kept. When I bought the house, it showed terribly. There wasn't one tree on this property or one flower. All the outside was just raw concrete. The pool wasn't finished. The coping was exposed. They had furniture, like plastic furniture. I don't know. It showed horribly, but I can see past it. I saw the bones. I said, I have to have this house. And I got it. So I got these custom cushions made for outside. And a lot of people go, boy, it took a lot of guts to do this color. But I like color. And I call this the Hermes orange with brown trim. And this is my bedroom. I have this whole separate wing, which is total privacy. I did the room is square and tons of windows. I wake up in the morning and I put up the blinds and I see the beautiful pond and the pool and all the landscaping. And sometimes I'll have, if I want privacy, I can have dinner here or breakfast here. I love the color of the walls. I always say a wall should complement someone's skin. And I just think I look really good in this room against this wall. It enhances me, which I adore. I love my bedding. It's by Togus. I think that's how it's said. And it's bamboo sheets. So it's really soft, so luxurious and soft. So my tip to have a comfortable bedroom is obviously I need blackout curtains because I want to be able to sleep as late as I want because sometimes I stay up late and then I want to sleep till 9 or 10. The other tip is I love a wonderful down quilt. And I keep my room cold, like at 68. And I love great soft sheets. And these are, as I told you, bamboo. They're like silk on your skin. And of course, you have your big screen TV. I have a chase here, seating here. So it's just very comfortable. This was the first room I did before I did the entire house. Originally, this room had, it was more like Italian style. It had an Aubusson rug and like Italian provincial furniture and very old world looking, as if you were in an Italian villa. And then what's beautiful is I have an outdoor patio here. Let me show you how fabulous it is. When it's a rainy day, torrential rain, I'll just sit out here. Maybe I'll have my coffee here, my breakfast, sunset cocktails. You just see a whole different vantage point of the pond. It is just so wonderful and so special. And the sun sets right over there, so it's fabulous. And we have swans here that come every year because swans mate for life. Let me show you the primary bathroom, my bathroom. When I purchased this home, I love the idea of a huge bathroom. 2 big windows, and actually all these windows are like French doors. That's what makes this house so special, is so much light. You have the high ceilings, the skylight, and let's check out the shower. I mean, we could have a family in this shower. Double shower heads, beautiful marble. And I love the idea of a his and her side, because I like to spread out. I love lots of counter space to do my makeup. And I think this is quite sensational. And my whole idea is when I redid this is I wanted the big mirror with the sconces on top of the mirror. That's like a new trend in interior design. And of course the big tub, which is fabulous, and the all-in-one toilet that everyone has now. When I purchased this home, I worked with the broker and I said, I really would like a huge primary bathroom because it's gonna be hard to find that. And I actually discovered this house on my own. And this bathroom was already this size. The tub was different. It was the old style, it was set here, wasn't freestanding. But the bones of this house stayed the same. I just changed the interior design of it to make it more modern. There's nothing I would change in this bathroom or bedroom. I love it just the way it is. I designed it myself. So these 2 pieces were custom made for me. They have lots of drawer space. And then this is quartz. It's more expensive than marble because you can spill red wine on it. It doesn't get damaged. And I wanted a very clean look with just very slight veining. And then these floors are porcelain floors. The only thing maybe I could have done that I didn't do is have them heated. But then I didn't do it because actually I'm in Palm Beach in the winter, so. So what I did here to make it more updated was this was all like a blonde wood, the banister. And I painted this a dark black brown with a white. The floors, I just stripped them and stained them the same color as the floors below. The floors below are all new floors, but I didn't have to change all these floors. So even though it's narrow wood, because now the style is like wider wood, to save money, I just bleached them and stained them. But all the furniture had to come out to do all this work. But meanwhile, I gave away all the furniture because I bought all new furniture. This chandelier actually came with the house, and I kept it. The things I did change were the chandeliers in the other rooms and the sconces. So all the sconces, I decided to keep them uniform in the house throughout to make it more clean. So as you can see, the 2 sconces are over here. They're in the hallway over here. They're in the hallway of my bedroom. So I kept that the same for continuity. I love the curved staircase. I think it's really fun and different. It's traditional, but I like mixing old with new. And when you walk into this place, when I first came in, I go, oh my God. I had to refrain from saying, I love this place, because as soon as you walk in, it's amazing. I mean, look at my view. It's like a live photograph or painting. What makes a house a home is your energy. So my energy comes into this home because I can't even tell you how many people, whether they're strangers, friends of friends, or my friends that come in for the first time, they go, this is such a warm, inviting house. So it shows my personality, and that's what a home is. The most interesting guest I ever hosted here was Ivana Trump. And she was so down to earth and so warm and so sweet. Oh, right now, Hugo Spritz. Favorite store in the Hamptons. Well, it all depends on what I'm shopping for. I mean, usually I entertain, so obviously Cinderella. Favorite restaurant in New York City. It's still Scarpetta, Capri. Luann, she's out here in the Hamptons too. #1 hosting tip is do a lot of the preparation beforehand so you're not in the kitchen, so you can entertain and enjoy your guests. Fun.
Hi Homeworthy, I'm Alex Papakristis, and I'm here in East Hampton today to visit my divine business partner, Lisa McCarthy. So, Lisa and I are on the board of ARF together, and we've been working together for years. We both love animals and taking care of and helping underprivileged animals. So Lisa and I were on the dinner committee. She was actually chairman of the board, and then we did the dinners together. And we set the tables, and we realized how much fun we had working together. So Lisa and I started a tabletop business where we manufacture and make our own dishes. At first, it was a tabletop business where we sold other people's things. But then Lauren Santo Domingo from Moda Operandi reached out to me and asked me to design a collection. After the year was up, I decided, well, isn't this fun? I can design my own dishes and sell them. And isn't that really what people want? Something unique and couture, something that's made just for them. So that's what we've been doing. And we've had so much fun doing it. And our business is really doing well. And so it's a separate business from my decorating business. So when I met Lisa, she used this wonderful decorator, Rob Southern, who was a great friend, and he decorated her house for her. And it's really, really wonderful. So come on, let's go inside and see Lisa in her beautiful home in East Hampton. Come on, Coop, let's go.
Hi, welcome. Nice to
Sweetheart.
see you.
Oh my God, what a beautiful day
I
it is
know.
today.
Hi,
right?
Coops. Come on
Oh
in.
my God, everything looks so beautiful. The
Thank
house looks so
you.
pretty.
Thank
Hi,
you.
Hudson. Hi, Hudson.
Hudson's walking away. Oh,
Hudson,
bye.
well, they're frenemies, Cooper and
Yes.
Hudson. But Hudson is an ARF dog, right?
He is an ARF
yeah, he's such a
dog
good boy.
that
And
we-
that's really how sort of our business together started.
Right, because
right?
we were
Setting the tables for ARF.
for ARF.
Right,
yeah.
so fun. So let's go tour. I'm
Okay,
so excited
great.
to be here.
I'm happy that you're here.
You're watching Homeworthy, where we believe every home has a story.
So hello everybody again at Homeworthy. Here we are at Lisa McCarthy's beautiful house where she lives with her husband Brian and her daughter and her son and
And
their
dogs.
significant others
Yes.
and babies and
4 dogs some days.
right, which is divine. So Lisa, tell us how, you and I used to be neighbors. We used to live down the
And
street.
I was sad too when we moved.
I miss you so much, but still, we see each other and it's all good.
And we talk 85 times a day.
Exactly,
so
we
it's
do.
all good.
It was nice having you down the street, but still. So tell us about how you found this house and the story of this wonderful house we're in today.
So we ended up, after 28 years, leaving Bridgehampton for East Hampton because we needed a house kind of for the next chapter of our lives. So we now have grandchildren. Both of our children are young adults and married. And the house we had, while it was great,
It was beautiful.
we were neighbors.
It was beautiful. It was a little small.
Yeah, we outgrew it. This house, we came in and nobody was looking at this house
Why?
because it kind of hadn't been loved in a while. So it didn't show well.
Right, and I think one of the crazy things about the real estate market is people don't, if it's not in mint condition, they don't get it.
Right, especially then. 'cause-
But this was in pretty fabulous condition. It just looked gloomy and dreary and unloved.
yes,
and
and
as
it
I
needed a
always say,
paint job
and that
and-
yellow thing. Everybody
yellow.
hates that yellow, creamy color. Nobody understands it.
From
and
the
it makes,
80s, from
it
the
makes
80s.
Everything look dated. But I mean, it's a
Yeah.
gorgeous house.
It's a great house and it's serving us well because when people come, when we have a full house, everybody has their area to hang in. So yeah, it's worked out. And what I love about it is, there's many things I love about, but what I really love about it is that the kitchen, the library, and the master bedroom are kind of in a triangle,
So if it's just you and Brian.
which 90% of the
Right,
time,
right.
it's just the two of us.
Right,
So that's what's nice
So
about
it's like a
the
big
house.
little house,
Right.
and it's very practical because you can use everything. So you're using these rooms most of the
Right.
time, but then when you need it all, it's all there for you.
Right, and then this little nook, I wasn't really sure how we were going to use it, but we use it every day. We
Right.
read the morning paper, we have our coffee here, we're having a conversation here, so it really serves the whole house really well.
So great. So Lee, tell me a little bit about, how you decorated the house. What was the process like with Rob? What did you guys, did you show him pictures? Did you have like a dream list of things you'd always wanted? How did it all come together?
Well, I always keep a file.
Right.
If I'm looking at a magazine, I tear it out, and
Which
I
is
have
so
this
good.
file.
I tell clients to do that all the time. It's really the best thing because it's a visual for people to understand.
And I love blue and white. I think it's
Yes.
an easy color to live with.
It's so pretty.
It's not tricky. And that's kind of how it started. But remember, and I know you have clients that you've done numerous projects for.
Yes.
It's like being an old married couple.
You know each other so well.
Yes, and he
Right.
knows kind of my aesthetic. And,
Right.
so it was a pretty...
And you have a very clean aesthetic. You know, you
I
have a
do.
very clean aesthetic.
Even the house, the way I dress, everything.
Yes. You're very classic and clean, which is beautiful. And I think the house shows so beautifully.
Well, thank you.
So here we are in your beautiful entrance foyer. Tell us about it, Lisa.
So these two rooms, the living room and the dining room, you can tell by the ceiling height. This was the original part of the house. And then when we go into the kitchen...
So it's an old house?
This part of the house is old. And when we go into the kitchen library, you'll see that the ceiling height is quite high.
Right, so they bought an old house and then renovated it.
Renovated it.
Adding the other wing to it.
Correct.
But you didn't do that.
We didn't do that.
So what did
The
you, did you
Howards
change
did that.
anything to this?
No, this was how it was.
But you just decorated it.
We decorated
And
it.
this beautiful Chinese Chippendale
Chinese Chippendale was there,
railings
this
here.
beautiful archway into the...
So that's crazy that nobody understood this house. But you
It had-
painted it your blues, and you did the black, and you did all the
And
colors
this is
and changed.
upholstered walls.
Yeah, which we're going to get to the dining room. Here we go, from the foyer into your divine living room. Oh my God, you know how I love a painted floor.
yeah.
Oh my God, it's so chic. So was that how the room started?
No. The room was that yellow beige color, and we put this beautiful silk paper. It's it's very quiet.
So pretty.
Silk paper, and then we painted the floor, and we live with dogs. I didn't want a rug in here. Just
Well, I love that too. My living room in New York, Scott's
Right.
in my living room, and all our hallways are
Painted,
stenciled
yeah.
floors. It's so practical, and I love the color, and it's so fresh, and it just makes the room feel so beautiful. I love it, and I love the way you've used the embroidery on the chairs.
that was
It's
Rob's idea.
So pretty, so pretty.
And I also love the black and white, the photograph, the Richard Phibbs photograph.
That's
and
so
then
beautiful.
The
I
two
love that.
Ellsworth Kelly etchings.
So pretty.
Yeah, so pretty. So I love the black and the white mixed with the blue.
Oh, over here. These are
Yeah.
Ellsworth Kelly?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're great.
So
Oh, and
I
I
love
love
that.
this Swedish sofa.
Yeah, that's
So I
really,
see a lot of Swedish furniture. Is that sort of one
that
of
was
your...
the theme. Yes, I love Swedish furniture. I just think it's just pretty. So,
And it also feels very Hamptons and country.
right.
I love that.
So we have
nice.
several pieces. There's an antique store in Connecticut that Rob has purchased quite a few Swedish pieces. The tables, these two tables, and then out in the foyer too.
So pretty. I love the sofas, and I love the poof. So nice. Really, it's so beautiful.
And-
it's very you.
Yeah.
It's very sort of monochromatic and pretty, and it just looks like you.
And I love the ceiling.
Oh, sorry, Coop.
We lacquered the ceiling.
Oh,
so
that's beautiful.
It's like an ice blue color.
Really pretty. Really nice, and it makes it a little reflective. So everything in the room is very dry, but then you have that sort of beautiful lacquered ceiling. And all the crown moldings were here?
All the crown moldings were
I
here.
mean, it's just crazy that
right?
nobody
I know,
saw
nobody could
this
see
and
it.
said, "Oh my God, how
But-
fabulous is this house?"
But this room, when we came to see it, was used as an office. So there was one big kind of really big ugly desk at the end.
It's so crazy.
Papers all over the place.
Well, it's like if people don't make a house look pretty, people just don't get it. It
Right.
just doesn't show well.
Right.
Then people don't. But that was your good luck, right?
Yes, my good luck and good timing.
Oh, it's so pretty. I mean, this is just beautiful. Who doesn't love this?
So this room was not an easy room to do a furniture plan because here's the fireplace,
Right.
but it's
Not centered.
not centered. So that was a challenge. So that's when we made this seating area and then this and this.
Well, I
So-
think the reason why you made it so successful and the reason why the room works so well is because you've created 3 seating areas.
Right.
but you've used small scale furniture, which I always say is so important. To understand the scale and the proportion of a room is really what makes a room work. And this, I mean, you know, it's small, but look how comfortable and divine this chair is.
Yes.
I mean, you know,
And
most of us are not that big, really. You know, you have a big, tall man, but that's a comfortable looking sofa.
Yes.
You know, someone tall can sit on that. And I love that because when you have a big party or when it's the holidays, you have all these wonderful sort of conversation areas. And then over here is great too, super comfy. And I love the way you've used a pair of sofas in the room. And then they're similar scale to this beautiful Swedish sofa, to the antique sofa. And it's such a nice mix of, you know, upholstery and antiques. Really, it's lovely.
And then this is a 70s coffee table that Rob found, which I love it.
Love it. And the brass Chris Spitzmiller, Albert Hadley
And it all
hurricanes
works.
on the mantle. So beautiful. So tell us a little bit about this, Lisa. It looks so beautiful. I love what you did here.
Well, these were just, you know, empty bookcases. And I remember seeing this picture, I actually think it was in your office, of one of the dining rooms of Valentino. And
The Last Emperor, that incredible coffee table
Yes.
book. It's a great book. If you don't know it, it's got incredible recipes and it's on Valentino and his table settings.
But he had the bookcase is chock full of blue and white porcelain.
Right.
Now his is a little different than my collection.
But it's
but
beautiful. You know what? Everybody can't be Valentino.
Right. So, but I love it. And then
we love this.
we love
this is our friend.
Bill Tansey. And for those of you who don't know Bill, he's an incredible artist. He actually has a studio in Southampton. He's actually working on lots of sculptures now, but this is one of his grand scale paintings, and I just love his sense of color, too.
Me too. I have two of his paintings, too.
You do?
Yeah, I have his
Well, you
painting.
introduced me to Bill.
Yeah, I love Bill. And Bill, who's an incredible man, used to be a party planner. So I really know Bill because he did a party for us originally. And he's super talented.
Wildly
And then he
talented.
gave us a lot of advice when I did Alana's wedding.
Yes.
He gave us some sources
Enormous
and turned us
advice.
on to some wonderful people down in Florida that helped us to make Alana's wedding so beautiful. So Lisa used me as her wedding planner for her daughter's wedding, and I helped to design.
He was good.
I helped to design the wedding, and we had so much fun.
And the
doing
price
it.
and the price was right.
And we set the tables, and we did it all together. So that's kind of what's so much fun about our business is that what Lisa and I do is it works with entertaining, it works with tabletop, it works with weddings, it works for everything. So it's really fun, and we have a good time doing it.
We
right?
have a good time, and we have a real division of labor because Alex is the chief. We're both co-founders of the business, but he's really the chief creative officer.
But I don't feel
And
that
I'm
way.
the
I look to
operating
you
officer.
for advice all
Yes,
the
but
time,
I always-
and you have beautiful taste, and I trust you implicitly.
But I think we have a good division of labor because
Speaking of everyday elegance,
Yes.
here we are.
here we are.
Okay, so these are very special. So should we talk about our dishes?
Sure.
So I'll tell the story of this dish, which I love. So this dish is a Delft dish, which I had 3 of, and I'm absolutely obsessed with it. And I looked everywhere. It was antique dishes that I bought at some antique show. I looked everywhere to add to the set because, what am I going to do with 4 dishes? I wanted, knowing me, you know how I am, I wanted 40. So I couldn't find them anywhere. And I just said, you know what? Let's make them. I tried everything I could to find them. I couldn't. There was no name on the back of them, and I decided to make them. So now Lisa and I are making them in green. I made them for my 60th birthday
And
in
Alana's
green.
wedding.
I made 400 of them. Then we used them for Lisa's daughter Alana's wedding. So we've used them twice, and now we made more in blue and white. And it was really my dear friend Harry Slacken who introduced me to the
Right, to
people
this
to
resource,
the
right.
resource to manufacture them. He made some for himself as well because he loved them so much. But
And
he
we're
made them
making
for
them.
me.
And we're making them.
And now we're making them with everyday elegance. We're doing them in the green, in the blue, and in the brown, which we think is just really interesting. So it'll be fun. And we're marketing them at a much more affordable price than our sort of fancier dishes, which are all made in Italy.
and hand painted.
Right.
Yeah.
These are not hand painted, but they really,
They're
honestly,
good. They're really good.
I can't tell the difference between this and the original. So if I can't tell the difference,
Yeah, because you have a very critical eye.
I do. You think?
Yeah.
Anyway, so I love the way you set the table.
Thank you.
So tell us.
It's well, we have some Mataheta pieces here also. So we have our dishes, and then we have Prosperity Charger,
Which I love.
and then we put all these small
From
vases.
your collection of blue and white that you took out of your bookcase, right?
Yes.
I love that idea. You know, I'm from that school too, where I love the idea of taking things from the house and using them on the table.
Well, I learned that from you.
Yeah, well, you know, I have those bookcases where I have huge collections of things. And
you
sometimes
just pull.
Right, and it's nice to see your collections, right? Why does it all have to be in a closet hidden away?
Right.
You know, it's beautiful to see the things and to enjoy them and walk by them, and then to use them in a new way all the time.
And these, I love, these are from KRB. I know
Right.
you have some of these
Yeah,
too.
I had a
love
big
these.
collection. I saw them
love
from
these.
Kate's store, and that's
Yeah.
where I bought them too. And she sells out of those in like 2 minutes.
Yeah, they're so
They're
pretty.
so beautiful, and we use them for votives. I love them too. I have a big collection of those also.
And then these are
Oh, I love those.
hand blown by this gentleman
In Rhode Island.
In Rhode Island.
I love those glasses.
Craft Advisories, and he
Yeah.
is the head of the glass blowing department at RISD.
Yeah, he's beautiful. I love his glasses. And they're like, I have these
Lightweight.
too. I love them. I have the big ones in green. And they're so nice because they're like paper thin and they look like they're Venetian, but they're not.
Right. And then we mix it with a Villery and Bach goblet.
That goes in the dishwasher, no
Yeah.
fuss, no muss, super easy.
And then the centerpiece is by Sag Harbor Florist.
And it's a Monahata
Tureen.
Yeah, Sag Harbor, she's our favorite. So again, you know, as we always have this conversation, I think it's so important when you're in the Hamptons to use a local florist, to support local businesses, because that's how you keep a great network of creative people
Right.
local.
And then all the plants, the ferns and the other plant there, all in this room are from Broadview Gardens in
Who we love
Sacaponic.
also. Yeah, she's my great friend,
yeah.
and I love her. She does my vegetable garden at home. She does tons of things for us, and every year. So you and I do the same thing, right? Like at the beginning of the season, I go and I take all my planters and I do plants.
Right.
You do the same.
Right. Right.
We bring our cash posts.
Yep.
Fill them up and find unusual plants. And again, she's a local resource. And, you know, she'll tell me, Alex, I found this seed in Italy that I brought back and I grew this unusual little plant. What do you think? I'm like, what do I think? I'm taking it for sure. So I brought Chris Fitzmiller there. I
Right.
brought so many friends there. I send all my friends whenever they come out, people who are interested in gardens. It's a wonderful place to go. Bayview Gardens.
In Sagaponack.
Yeah, it's on Sag Main Street.
Broadview,
Right.
yeah. And just as a side note, both Sag Harbor Florists and Broadview donate all the flowers and all the centerpieces for the Animal Rescue Fund of the Hamptons party, which we call it the Bow Wow Meow Ball, which Alex and I are very involved in. So
Well, we love those animals, and they're just so sweet and dear and so cute. And you think of what people do to these animals, breaks your heart. So knowing you and your
Yes.
sort of minimalist character and the
Yes.
way you really aren't such a pattern girl, how did you ever go with this? I mean, I love it. It's insanely beautiful. These upholstered walls.
Yes,
I
and-
mean, that must have been a big, did Rob sell you on that?
he did sell me on it, yes. And I think I loved this pattern, and I love the pomegranate in the pattern.
You know what pomegranates are, right? They bring money.
Oh, that's good.
Good fortune and
That's
money.
good.
Uh-huh.
That's good. And so we had, the gentleman that came, he came with his 2 sewing machines, and he slept here for a month. And he did this wall, the little nook that we were sitting in earlier, and then one of the bedrooms, which I'll take you guys up to. And what was so unbelievable to me is, see, look at even just on this
Yeah, it's
archway,
so
how
beautiful.
he matched everything.
Yes, it's beautiful.
And
but,
this,
you know, this
too,
is an
I mean-
old art form, you know, and we do it all the time too. And I love the way it's done, the way you've inset it into 2. This is another fabric. So this is a
Yes.
different fabric that you've used on the border, and then you've inset it in almost like panels, and
Right.
it's so beautiful. Well, I think it's so. And you know, isn't it interesting, Lisa? Don't you find that it gives you so much decorating, right?
Well, I also don't feel like I need to put a painting here or a mirror because the fabric is art.
Right. It's so pretty. It looks So, so lovely. And your chairs, I love your chairs.
And they're comfortable.
Which is so important.
Yes, they're comfortable.
Right?
Yep.
I love an upholstered dining chair.
Yep.
I really do. I mean, I like legs not to be upholstered, but I like that it's comfy.
It is a comfortable
You sit
chair.
in these chairs for hours, and sometimes dinner can be a couple hours, and a good dinner and good conversation, you want to stay at the table.
And
it's important that the chair's comfortable.
I'd like to point out something else
Yes.
that you made me buy.
What? Oh my God.
These were, we got these at the ARF thrift shop,
So pretty.
and they were gold.
They're so.
And we lacquered them white.
They're
and,
so-
And the scale of them is perfect
And
here.
I think that they're antiques.
I think they were too.
I think they were Venetian. I think they were a little pair of Venetian consoles, and they look so pretty here.
But the gold didn't work.
No,
But the white looks
But
great.
it's also the gold's not you.
Right.
So, and again, I think it's great. And you know what I always say, right? Antiques are green. So much better off buying something vintage
Right.
and making it your own. These looked a little foofy. I remember them. And it wasn't your sensibility. But now they almost look like Elsa de Wolf or like sort of modern, 1920s, even though they're probably, 19th or 18th century brackets, they look contemporary now because of the dry paint and the lacquer.
Yeah.
They look so chic. I love them. And the chest of drawers in the window is
So
beautiful.
that-
That's chinoiserie, right?
Yes, and that's Japanese that was bought many years ago at a Paris flea market.
Love it.
Yeah.
So good looking. Beautiful.
And we had that in our New York apartment, and we brought it here.
It looks great here.
Yeah.
And it's like such a nice anchor.
And it also serves a purpose because I can put
Linens. Right.
linens,
Practical.
candles.
Great. I love that.
silver.
And it looks
Yeah.
great in the window. I love the way you've done that. And I love the way you use black sort of it because it's such a you thing, right?
I love black. I love black outdoors, indoors. We have a lot of black furniture. So
And black and blue is so pretty,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So good. Tell us about the dining room table. I love the table.
so
That's got to be antique, right?
I believe it is Rob found the table for us.
beautiful.
And what I love about it, I love the oval shape, and I love the fact that it's not too wide.
Me too.
So you can talk across. When tables get to be 36, 42 inches, you can't talk. So that's what I love about this table.
I agree. I'm totally from that school. I like a table that's not too big and that's easy to communicate. And I also like an oval table because I think it softens the room.
Yeah.
I have an oval table in my both dining rooms and I love them. This is probably of the Janssen feeling, this table, Lisa.
Yes, but I think this was brown, and I think we
Ebonized it.
ebonized it.
You lacquered it black.
Yep.
Yeah, but again, and that would have been something that Janssen, the great decorating firm, would have done. They would have done that. So it looks so pretty in here.
Thank
and you
you.
really use this house.
We do use
You
this
live in
house.
it.
We do.
And I love that. It shows, it feels homey and cozy. And I've been here for dinners and I've been here for lunches and we've had board meetings here for ARF. And, I think that's great. But the house just works. It's just a very friendly, easy, natural house. And I think your color sense and what you and Rob have done has such a nice continuity. You don't feel choppy. You go from room to room and there's a flow, even though each room's different
Right.
and stylish in its own way. I love that about it. So let's go into the great room that you use so much, right?
Yeah, this is the room. The kitchen and the nook and the library is really, this area is really where we live. And
So great.
I love I have all this
Did you
storage.
do the antique mirror? Or was that
No,
here?
that was here. But we have all this incredible storage here. Everything's labeled.
It's so nicely.
Yeah.
So good looking. And this is like breakfast room, but also we've had dinner here and lunch here,
Yep,
right?
we'll do casual dinners here.
Here at this table,
Yep.
which is so great.
And this is also Command Central
Uh-huh.
for everyday elegance.
That's great, right?
And these are our baskets too.
Yep, love. And the wonderful
Shiny.
chinoiserie boys, we
Yes.
make those too. So these are wonderful because these are an old model that Christian Dior used to have. And we use the same vendor that used to make these, and they're so stylish. So we use them for flower vases, but I have clients who bought them and they use them on buffets with cutlery in them. You can put chocolates in them, you can put nuts in them. And they're just stylish and fun and so whimsical and interesting. And again, back to the whole blue and white theme,
Yeah, I love-
right, Lisa?
Yes, again, such an easy color to live with, and Here's a little, feeling of the Hamptons with the blue and white coral in there.
And Lisa, you cook, right?
I cook, and I like to cook, and I find it actually relaxing to cook.
What a great kitchen.
It's a great kitchen, and I have 2 stoves. I have a nice big commercial refrigerator and freezer, 2 dishwashers. So it's a fun kitchen.
And I love the ceiling height,
Yep.
right? I mean, and this was like this, and nobody understood this, and so
Well,
wow.
it was really, again, it was yellow. It was that
Right.
80s beigey yellow
It's
that
so
just
funny,
wasn't.
and it just feels so dated.
Yeah.
And people can't see through that.
Yep.
It's like white is the miracle thing. You paint a room white, and it looks modern.
Well, and the other thing is, don't underestimate, this took 1 month for them to paint.
Well, because to get the kind of, and also probably it really needed it. What, did you change the countertops?
No, it didn't change the countertops. I mean, I love marble.
Well, it's gorgeous.
I know.
I'm saying, like,
I love
what is
marble.
wrong with this?
And then see these are waterwork,
Uh-huh.
and they had 6 of these here, and it
Right.
just was too. It was, for me, it was a little too industrial looking.
And it makes it heavy.
So we took 2. We took
And
the
then you
4
put that
down.
beautiful chandelier
Yes.
and put that up.
And
I
that's
love that.
from Ellen Scarborough's store in Stamford, Connecticut. And,
It's so pretty.
and Ellen is also a fellow ARF board member. So
I didn't know Ellen had a store in Stanford.
she did. Yeah.
Where were
I think she
doesn't anymore?
I think she still does.
Oh God, I gotta ask her about
Yeah.
that. Well, the chandelier is so pretty.
The white iron.
And this is like a wonderful sort of sitting room.
This is like, we have our coffee here, we read the newspapers here, we play cards here, we do all sorts of things here. So
It's great.
This
so
little
it's just
nook,
like another seating area.
it's another seating area.
And tell us about the fabric.
So the fabric, we had this custom done, I forget where Rob had this done, but we walked into this small place in the D&D building, I don't remember the name of the manufacturer, and we did a custom color and custom order.
Yeah, it's those small little places that can do. It's like it's not a big upcharge for them to change the color and make you something. It's wonderful. It's sort of like a couture business, and I love that it's unique for the room,
And
which
it's
is so great.
Chinese teacups.
So you're not going to see this everywhere.
Right, exactly.
And it's your blue and white theme, and the tables are so pretty vintage.
I think they're vintage.
Yeah.
Rob found those. I don't know where he found them.
Yeah, they're like from the 70s, and he probably painted them up. They look great. They look great, and I love the kind of palm fronds all over them.
And I just love all the cabinets have lots of storage space here.
Is that blue Canton over
It
there?
is blue Canton.
Is it? Our favorite. We both love it.
I think you
We
were
both
you
love
were the inspiration though, and here's blue Canton here, and this is actually an old blue Canton piece.
Fun.
But we have, let's see, this is very important. All dog leashes go in here.
Well, that's great because
And
it's like so
all-
you don't have to look
right,
at them.
And all keys go in here.
That's great.
So that's like,
So it's a catch-all, and you use it as a flower vase, right?
Right, right.
And if you're having a buffet, I use those. They're
I
so
do-
great,
I do
right?
too, yeah. So here's, and I know you have this too, is blue Canton.
Matahata.
Yeah,
it's
we
the
just
best.
love it.
It's
We
great.
love it.
You never get sick of.
No.
And it's such a classic American thing because it's like in the 1800s they brought this from China trade and it was made, but now we make it. Now it's made by Matahata, and I love it. And
I
it's
do
so
too.
pretty, and it's
And then the
easy and
bowls.
dishwasher safe, and it all looks good, and it
And it-
mixes with so many
And it
things.
can be dressed up, it can be dressed
Yeah.
down, so.
And we
I
sell that
like-
on Everyday Elegance as
do,
well.
we do.
We've sold a
And
lot
the
of
bowls.
that to people.
Yes, we have. We have.
And they also make so many great shapes. I mean, Matahata is so great.
And then
they just have a new book out. Remember?
that's right.
And
Oh,
in their
that's
new
right, I
book, they
forgot
did a
about it.
chapter on Scott's and My Apartment in New York in the new Matahata book, and it's really, really pretty. They did a beautiful job. It's by
Wendy.
Susie Slesson. No, Susie Slesson from but Wendy. Yes, she's the owner of Matahata. But I think it's Pointedly Press that did the book, and it's really very attractive.
And they just came out. See this? I love this tray. It's
Oh, that's
a
so pretty. I've never
sandwich
seen that.
tray. So you can put fruit on this,
It's great.
coffee. I mean,
Love,
it's really pretty.
So pretty. So pretty.
Yeah.
Well, they have so many shapes in it. And you know my favorite, right? Those baking dishes. You have those, don't you?
Love those.
So they're so great. They're literally
Here, farm
they're
to
so
table.
good. Yeah, no, you can
Table,
bake in them
oven.
and you can cook in them. So you can cook in these, and I love them.
Oven to table.
Yeah, so I think this is such an amazing hostess gift. It's one of the things that I always say. So you take these, you make something homemade in it, and you bring it as a hostess gift for Thanksgiving to a friend, to a family member, and you give them the blue and white table to oven to table piece with something that you make in it. You could do mac and cheese, you could do a lasagna,
Peach
a pie.
a tart.
I just think they're so great, and it's such a great gift.
And it saves you a step. It saves you a step.
And what's nicer than something home baked in a beautiful dish that then you can keep and use? I mean, I just love that. Okay.
And our house would not be complete without, we have coffee
Right.
and
Dog bones.
biscuits.
So, obviously, one of the reasons why we did do this tabletop business, there was a little bit of
Obsessive behavior.
compulsive shopping with the two of us.
Yeah.
And we do sort of sadly encourage each other in this a little bit.
This is true.
It's a little bit like, oh my God, what are those dishes? They're so pretty. Well, I want them. Okay, then I want them. Or we decide who gets them, and then we order them.
And then if I need them from you, or you need them from me.
Well, that's also the great thing. That's also the great thing. And we also, like, I know that sometimes, you love something and I have so many sets, so I'll be like, Lisa, it's a present, I want to give that to you. So I just did that with my niece. I had all these beautiful dishes.
Penny Morrison,
Penny Morrison, Carolina Irving.
Right.
And I love them, but I don't know, I didn't use them, and I had 50 of them. So my niece was giving a dinner party. I called her, she's like, I don't really have the right things. I'm like, Angel, I'm sending you 50 dishes. She did a big garden party.
Perfect for her.
Right. And she's doing that. So she did a photo shoot for her new book. She's doing a cookbook.
That's great.
Isn't that amazing? Her name's Sabrina. It's Sabrina Leister-Rudin. She's my niece, and she owns Spring Cafe in New York, which is amazing.
And Aspen.
And she does all these organic foods, and it's all about that.
Delicious.
Anyway, so of course I decorated for her and her husband. And now I gave her all these dishes. She loved them. They looked so beautiful.
I saw them on Instagram. I thought they looked so pretty, and they're her.
Right.
They feel
and
white.
I never use them. I also always say that to people. If you have something and you're not using it, give it to somebody who's going to enjoy it.
Right.
Don't keep things you're not using. I mean, I use my good silver every day. I use, we eat off of the best of everything.
Well, it's like what you always say, and I think this is so true. Use your good stuff. What are you saving it for? Enjoy it. Use your
you're
shiny.
Like me. And again, everything you use every day should be beautiful. So show us some of your dishes.
So we have china here. Okay, so we have the blue Canton, and then we have the geranium, which we love.
I have those too.
And you can use this just as a buffet or a charger.
Agree.
And then I also have the green dish, which you have too.
I love that too, yeah. What? I don't think I have the green.
Oh, you
I have the white.
I have the white and the green.
Yeah, I think you have the green. I just have the white.
Oh. But the green's pretty too.
Well, I love the way it sort of mixes and matches, right? You can do that. And that's fun as an appetizer, and then you can bring the white back as dessert or play with it, And again, we encourage people to sort of make things their own. Mix sets of china, mix different colors, play with it.
And these are not crazy priced.
Oh, they're really well priced.
They're
great looking.
Yes. So that's that. Oh, and then, hold on. We have this beautiful charger from Mataheta that
color's yummy.
And it looks pretty in the dining room.
So pretty.
But I love to mix it with this Richard Janori.
I love that too.
Which is so pretty.
So pretty. And again, I love the way they've used navy blue and turquoise because, I love to use turquoise and blue and green together. And it's so interesting. And I think it's such a fresh use of color because normally blue and turquoise, you only see that in nature. You don't see it, and I just think it's so chic and pretty.
It's so pretty.
And fresh, again, very fresh.
And then the other thing that I love, and I love this charger, this pink.
What do you use that with?
Pink lace. It's so pretty.
But what do you use that? You have pink dishes?
No, I put it with blue Canton sometimes.
So I have the pink Janori.
Yeah.
I've never used those.
You haven't?
I never used them.
Why?
I have the pink and blue Janori. I'm going to give you those to go with this charger.
You're so sweet.
I owe you a birthday present anyway.
not.
So, no, I do owe you a birthday present. It's my pleasure, and I'd be so happy.
You gave me those sterling silver wine things.
Okay, so it's another birthday present. Who cares? What's a couple presents among partners? I'm going to give you the pink ones, and you'll use them, and that'll be beautiful in your dining room. I think mine are navy blue and pink. And this room's so pretty. So this is that great Schumacher fabric that I have in my library.
I know. I think you were the inspiration because you have it in pink, right?
Right. It's got in my library. I think it's so chic.
It's so pretty.
Well, Tori Birch has it too.
Oh, she does?
Yeah, she has it. And she has it in the pink. I think we have it in the red, and you have it in the blue.
Yeah.
It's a great Schumacher fabric.
I love it.
Yeah, it's Schumacher. Yeah, it's so good looking. Well, I love the way you've used it, and also it's so practical because the dogs, the grandchildren. I mean, that shows nothing.
Nothing. Yes, and
It's
everybody's
such a pretty-
allowed everywhere in our house.
And
dogs,
I'm
babies.
the same way. You know what? A house is meant to be lived in.
Yep.
The dogs should sit on the furniture. The grandchildren should. There should be no off limits.
Exactly.
I mean, it's just that's
there are
not
no
normal.
off limits. And this mirror I love, and that's from KRB.
Kate Brodsky. She's such great stuff.
Yeah, she's
I
great
love
stuff.
the way you did the two sofas and the comfortable club
Well,
chairs.
I really do
and
like
then some wonderful
symmetry.
Again, yeah, me too. I'm totally from a little pair of 19th century chairs again, and the white coffee tables, and then the poof in the center for Hudson Watson to sit on whenever he needs a little break. Right? Really nice. So good lookingly. And I love the way you brought the Swedish things all
Back
over the
here,
house.
Yeah.
You know, there's a lovely kind of modern, clean vibe, and then a few Swedish antiques, which gives the house gravitas. It makes it interesting and pretty.
Yeah, and I love to be surrounded by books.
Yeah, well, it's great.
Yeah.
Well, you know, so it makes it a home. You know, if things that you've read, things that you love.
Yeah.
You know. So tell us, it was this wonderful?
So the paneling was
It's
here.
pine, isn't it? Yeah.
I believe it's pine.
It's pine, yeah.
But it was very terracotta color.
Right. So
we
you
lightened
lightened
it. And we put the ceiling, I think, was blue, and it was making it look
heavy.
So Rob suggested putting the ceiling white, and we lightened up the wood, and
Which
it looks
it feels more Hamptonsy and fresher.
Yeah.
And again, you know, a lot of people look at rooms that are dark wood and they're intimidated. You know, I'm just about to do a project in the city, and it's got like a very orange library. And I'm like, well, we can't keep that hideous orange color, and you have to tone it down and change the color, and then it makes the whole room feel modern.
Right.
Because there was that time where people liked this hideous kind of orangey wood that we just don't like anymore. But if you just refinish it,
and that's what we did.
It's beautiful to keep it.
It took a while to get it
Yeah.
right.
Well, it's hard because you probably did some liming to it, you know, where they bleach it a little bit
you
and
can
put
tell
some
up
white
there.
paint into it, and that's what sort of makes it feel. It looks like there's a little bit of glaze in it to sort of take that orange color out, but it looks really pretty, and it feels fresh.
Yeah. But I love this room because it's square, and I love that.
Well, and do you know how expensive it is to put in a wood room like this today?
I have no idea. I'm sure it's a fortune.
crazy.
Yeah.
So you really don't want to rip it out.
No.
You just want to
Well, I
sort
loved
of
it.
make it feel fresh and new, which you did beautifully.
So we're going out to our dining pavilion.
Which I love. It's so beautiful
It's-
what you've done out here. Come on, go.
Well, this is where the pool was.
Come on,
It
Bob.
just felt very pinched. And Brian decided, and I thought it was a brilliant idea, to move the pool so you don't actually see it
Right.
to the most western part of the property, which we'll walk that way. But we use this.
Well, also, this is such a natural off the kitchen to have the seating area and the garden here. It's so beautiful.
We have done small dinners here. We did a 50-person dinner.
Right. We did our ARF dinner here.
We did the ARF dinner here, and we have the fireplace going. And then the living room furniture, we usually put on either side over there. And then we put one long table anchored off of the center of the fireplace all the way there.
Love, it's so pretty. And tell us about that urn.
So that came from Authentic Provence in Palm Beach, and they have beautiful things. And it lights up at night.
So beautiful.
And
It's like a garden sculpture. It's so beautiful.
It is, and it's a little Moroccan. There's a
Yeah.
little Moroccan
Well,
feel.
it's sort of neoclassical meets Moorish.
Yes, but we love it because we like traveling to Morocco. It's one of our favorite places, and
Again, a beautiful table.
thank you.
And these are our dishes.
These are our dishes. This is the bamboo shape, and you know, I will tell you, it's very unusual to have a black dish, but food looks beautiful on this.
And you love black.
I love
it's your
black.
thing.
I
And I
mean-
love the black and brown together. And these are our beautiful custom, the beautiful flatware that we make.
Alon.
From Paris in gold bamboo.
And these are I love these napkins.
Damask napkins. They're so beautiful. We have those made for us. And these are my favorite glasses. These beautiful,
These are William Yoward.
beautiful Venetian. They're new goblets.
And then these are,
I love
we make
those.
these in Italy.
Italy, I love them. And I love the way they're like Florentine.
They are Florentine.
I love that. That's so pretty.
And this is the company you found in Paris to make the little,
that make the portafours, the
yes.
tiny little hurricanes.
and then these.
We do these in silver and in gold. They're so beautiful.
And these I found in the Grand Bazaar in Morocco, in Marrakesh. And they're just little boxes.
And you can fill them with chocolates or nuts or put them on the table.
Yeah, I just think they were so pretty. There was 3 of them. So.
I love the way you've used them, again, on the table.
Well, I got that from you. You taught me
I
that
love
trick.
the wood, and there's one of our baskets, Sag Harbor flowers, right?
Yep, with the beautiful dahlias. And the oval basket, brown liner with a brown basket.
So great. And I love these are our placemats. Sort of.
These are 4-point brown placemats.
So
yeah.
chic. I have these in navy and in brown, but I have different shapes. We
You
both
have
have them.
yes.
Love them. I love them. And again, I find them so easy to use.
Because they're nylon, you just
Right.
wipe them off,
Wipe
which is
them off.
so
You don't have to
nice.
wash them.
And then I got these garden tubs. They were Charlotte Mosses
Oh, that's
at Madou.
Oh, at the show.
Yes,
right.
yes, and I
You painted them black?
Painted
Love
them black.
And the gardenia trees,
and
my
then
favorite.
Broadview just brought these over. Broadview Gardens in Sagaponic.
Oh my God,
and
the
the
smell of the
gardenia, yes.
gardenias. It's the prettiest. I remember it was my mother's favorite flower. So when we lived in Greece, after dinner, there would always be people in the streets giving out gardenias, and you would buy the gardenias from the little ladies. So delicious. And it reminds me of my childhood. Remember I did that birthday party with gardenias
Yes,
floating? I
beautiful.
love gardenias and the
Beautiful.
smell of gardenias.
So we typically, especially in the fall, have the fireplace going.
Yeah.
So if we're doing a small dinner, we'll have cocktails here.
It's like an outdoor living room.
Right, and then we'll go over here
Move
for
to dinner.
which is
So
really,
nice.
really nice. Yeah.
And this is McKinnon and Harris.
Yes, which is
Yeah, it's the
It's
great.
really
It's like
pretty.
the Rolls Royce of.
Yeah.
But I love, again, you and Rob have done what I do, which is it's not just one brand of
No, we've
furniture.
mixed.
Which makes it, again, your own, stylish and unique, and it looks so pretty that you've used different companies together, and it makes it personal.
Yeah. No, and this just works.
And the
So,
blue and white, the big
big
blue
and white
jars
ones.
out there on the consoles. And you use those consoles a lot. I've been here, you use them for buffets,
Buffets,
which is
yep.
great. So they're handy and practical. Should we walk through the cutting garden?
Yeah. So we, since I like to cook, we actually, when I'm cooking, which is usually most nights, we go here and we actually cut. So we have basil and rosemary and thyme, sage, chives, and mint, which is the mint's a little out of control. I love that. And then we
Well,
have.
don't you find a little bit that it all comes out so fast?
Yes.
That you almost have to give it away to your friends.
I-
We have the same problem with our vegetable garden. It's like, oh my God, there's like 30 heads of lettuce. What am I doing with
I know,
that?
I
All at
know.
once.
And then we have parsley too. And then on the sides, we have these
dahlias.
beautiful white dinner plate dahlias.
They're so pretty.
And I love the white.
Do you cut them?
I cut them all, and the house is usually filled with them.
I love that.
But I love them because at night I can see the white flowers too, which is really nice. So
Love that.
And then we have peppers, and we have tomatoes.
That's so pretty.
Yeah.
Love it.
And then if we keep walking this way,
Okay, let's go. Oh, I love the peppers growing like
Yeah.
that. That's so pretty.
and here are the tomatoes.
What are these like? What kind of peppers are these?
These are all different species of peppers. Red pepper, and then we have these.
those are spicy ones, right?
Yeah, elongated ones. Yes, Brian likes to use them every morning in his omelets. So,
Lovely.
and we have basil.
Basil.
Those are
Scallions? Yes,
chives.
chives, right.
And this is sage, and that's mint.
So pretty.
And then this little room here is a transition, and this fountain also came from authentic Provence.
I love it. So pretty.
You know what I love? I love listening to the water just, it's very calming.
So nice.
So this is where the pool ended up, on the very west side of the property.
I mean, it looks like it's always been here.
I know, right?
That's just...
This part of the house wasn't utilized at
Right.
all. So,
And like, who is coming here if there's no pool?
right.
You know, I always say on a big piece of property, you have to give people a reason to go places. Come on, Coop. Come on. You know, it's like if there's no reason to go there, you're not using it. Come on, Cooper.
What's the matter,
Come on.
Coop?
Come on. You know, he just likes to do things on his own time.
Yes. So we used a landscape architect by the name of Quincy Hammond.
Who I just met recently. She's so nice.
She's wildly
so nice
talented.
and very pretty. Looks beautiful.
And she's from Atlanta, and her father, I believe, was a landscape architect. But she really, when we first got here, there must have been 19 different species of trees. It almost looked like an end of the season
Well, you know how I feel about that.
It's like, oh my God.
Like, that is just...
It's a no, as you would say. It's a
an
no.
absolute no. I don't want any garden that looks like a specimen garden. I am not a plant store. I like, you know, the whole property should have no more than like 8 or 9 different plants on it for me.
This only has, it has privet, boxwood, hydrangea, the linden trees. I think there's maybe, and then we have all these green giants. I think there's maybe 5 different species of
which is the
plant.
way I feel. I mean, I like that too. And I love the way it just makes it sort of modern and clean and I love it. I love it. And did you plant these trees?
We planted these trees, and then we planted the copper beech, which is right at the end of the pool. And the property goes behind there. There's another area over there in the back, which I'd love to at some point. You know that really cute dollhouse you have?
Ah, the playhouse.
Yeah.
The playhouse
Do
that Kitty
something
McCoy made for me, right? Yeah, Kitty, she's the architect who did us, and she's a local architect, and she's so talented. And my sister made, as a gift to her granddaughter, a playhouse.
And it's fantastic.
It's air conditioned, and it has a phone line, and it's just the most little. And then I decorated all in Manuel Canova fabric.
And painted floor.
And the painted floor. I saw Pauline de Rothschild, who was so stylish, a style icon from the 20th century. If you're not familiar with Pauline, look her up. She was amazing. She had great taste and style. And I also love, Lisa, the way you've kept it all so green, but it's practical. The lounge chairs have the bluestone under them, or is concrete? What is it? Is bluestone?
It's bluestone, yeah.
Yeah, I like the way.
Which matches the
pool.
The pool.
Really nice.
And the pool is the pool. I think is 50 feet by 20. So
it's a great size.
Yeah. And I love all the black gates too. You know.
Well, the whole house has continuity. You know, it's a story, a real story, and it looks beautiful. Really wonderful. Should we go inside and see the bedrooms?
Oh, sure. Let's go up here and go this way.
Yeah, I love all the entrances and the different ways of coming in and out of the house. You know, it keeps it fresh and new and fun. And when you entertain, I've come out these doors and you'll have drinks by the pool.
Right, we'll have people enter there and then come through
go
there.
Through the living room, walk through the house, and then come out here. It's so pretty. So let's go look at the bedrooms now.
Okay.
Come on, you two.
Hudson.
Where's Hudson?
Here.
Hudson. Hudson.
Come on.
Come on, sweetie. Come on.
So this is our bedroom, and
so pretty. Your Chinese wallpaper.
I've always wanted it, and it's I love the fact that
it was in that dream file?
Yeah, it was in that file. Yeah, and I got it. And again,
so beautiful.
You know, a lot of black furniture.
And I love that it's all all white. It's grisaille. I love that. I think Gracie does such a beautiful job.
They do.
You know, and speaking of them, they have a beautiful new book coming out.
Oh, they do?
Yeah, on Gracie wallpaper. It's really beautiful. I think they have a few of my projects in it.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
I love their papers. I think they really, they're the originals, the oldest company that did it. And they really started out by dealing in antique papers.
Oh, that I didn't
It was a
know.
family business, and they were selling antique papers, and then they would have the need to expand a room or add to it, so they sort of figured out how to create more of the antique papers, and then they started making their own papers because then people wanted just whole custom rooms.
Well,
And there's also a scarcity, of course, of antique papers,
Right.
so it's hard to find. But anyway, I think that's just
and I just, and I was,
so interesting and so pretty. The
And this
bed's
whole-
beautiful. I love the chinoiserie bed.
and the whole sitting area over there, over here, sometimes Brian will just have coffee here and read the paper, especially when there's a lot of people in the house.
Well, also, it's such a big house, so it sort of makes your bedroom into a suite, into a room
Right.
that you can use. And I love that. I love rooms that are multi-purpose. I think it's so practical because sometimes you want to get away.
Yeah.
You want to create something, and it's an enormous room.
No, it's our sanctuary.
Well, it really feels just so peaceful and beautiful and just
And-
so elegant.
Do you recognize this book?
Oh, my book. That's so cute. Thank you, cutie. Yeah.
There you go.
Oh, there we
The
go.
Elegant Life. Here we go.
My last book with Rizzoli from last November. So nice. Thank you, honey. That's cute. And wasn't this, Lisa, weren't these, did you have this in New York?
Yes. So this was in our living room. These two Florian Papp. Remember that store?
I love Florian Papp. It was a great antique store.
I remember getting those. So these two and then this love seat were in our living room in New York with these two. These used to be black vases, and then remember you told me to take them to Christopher Spitzmeller,
and you have
they
them
made
wired, and I love them. Look so pretty.
Yeah.
And again, I love that you've taken the things, and it's memories, right? It's memories from other apartments. I love that you've reused things, reupholstered them, and brought them in.
And
I
then
love
these were in our primary bedroom in New York, and we just put them here.
It's so pretty.
And then this is so funny. This was a coffee table that we got from Lisa Jackson when
Which her mom and when Lisa had a store, when
Yeah.
her mom, that's great,
Yes.
yeah.
So they've traveled with us.
I
A
love
lot of the
that.
things have traveled with us.
So pretty. So many pretty things. And that's the beauty of having things forever. They're memories of your
Right.
life and different apartments. And I think it tells a story of who we are.
And then those were from Charlotte Moss's townhouse. Remember that townhouse?
Yeah, oh, I
that
love that store. These, so pretty, so pretty. These are great.
Yeah, they're great.
And
They
they're so
go
new
everywhere.
and white. I love the chest of drawers too. And the curtains are beautiful.
Yes, the curtains are. I love the curtains. So
I always think beautiful curtains really make a room. They make a room feel cozy. People forget the importance of curtains. I think curtains are so important, and I love them. And they look like they're almost embroidered.
I think they are. I think it's Chelsea Textiles.
Yeah, Chelsea Textiles. Yeah, they do beautiful things.
Yeah.
Really, really pretty.
Hudson, do
Great
you want to
room.
go out?
So pretty.
Or you want to stay?
Stay with us. Come on, tour with us, Hudson. Cooper wants to play. So should we go look at more?
Sure.
Let's go see another.
Let's
Let's
go.
go. Where do you want to go? Your favorite guest room?
Well, okay, so I want to take you up to the guest suite. We call it the M&M suite because it's Matthew and Morgan's. It's where they stay and it's their space. But
And you have a
Mama's
new grandchild, right?
have a-
Just very recent.
4
You're on
days
your
old.
second.
4 days old.
Isn't that
Yeah,
amazing?
so
Congratulations.
I'm,
So
I'm
sweet.
leaving Monday
Wha-
to go up there. A little
what's-
boy.
What's his name?
Camden Christopher McCarthy, but they're calling him Cam.
That's cute.
So we got
I
Teddy.
love that.
Theodora, Teddy, and Cam.
That's so
Yeah,
cute.
so-
2.
Yeah, crazy.
Okay,
right?
let's go see the other room. So this must be part of the addition.
This is part of the addition.
It's like a breezeway that connects.
Yes. And this was flagstone that we just painted white.
Which looks so much better.
Yeah. So,
Sort of an inexpensive way of making it look chic and
yeah.
fresh.
And I didn't want to rip up the whole floor.
Yeah,
so.
and why do that? And it's great.
Yeah.
And it's practical.
And we do need to touch it up. Like I touch it up after every season. So.
Okay, big deal. That's nothing. It's better than having to rip up the floor because the floor is like, oh my God, to rip up this stone floor and all this paneling would be affected by that.
Yeah.
Okay, I love that. And I love that the guest suite is separate.
Yes.
So you're not on top of each other.
Exactly, exactly.
Okay, wonderful.
So now we're coming up to the Matthew and Morgan's
Guest suite?
guest suite.
It's great.
And again, these walls are upholstered, and they're just in Manuel Canova fabric, and the teal, which I love the teal.
I love this fabric. I've used it before.
It's so pretty. It's
just beautiful.
It's actually brown.
Yeah. It's almost, yeah, it's almost like a grisaille.
Yeah.
But then it's got the turquoise butterflies in it, which
It's
is so
so
beautiful.
pretty.
And then you picked up the turquoise, sort of that teal color as an accent in the room.
And then, so they come up here, and it's a comfortable room, and it's a nice size room.
So cozy and pretty.
And we purposely don't have any TVs in any of the guest bedrooms because we want everybody to come downstairs and, you know, be in the library and kitchen area.
And engaged
Yeah,
and together as a
exactly,
family. If
exactly.
you don't want people sitting in their bedrooms. You want
Right.
them to come and hang out all together. So
and
pretty.
And this was a piece that we got at
Arf,
at
right?
Arf, yes.
At our thrift shop.
And we just saw the color, and I'm like, that is perfect for there.
So pretty. And that too, right?
Yes,
also bought
this.
that from
yes,
Arf.
but this was. I think this was yours, right?
Yeah. You know, again, it's something I had in my basement sitting there, and we just didn't
It's
use
so
it.
pretty.
And it's a beautiful little 19th century table. And, you know, why not donate it? You know, if you have things, and ARF has a beautiful thrift shop where you can send things that you're not using. And we have tons of friends, you know, I don't believe in storage because
have
by the
storage.
time you look at your storage bills after 10 years, the money you've spent, it's just not worth it. You really, if you're not using it and you're not enjoying it, donate it, send it to auction, do something with it, give it away. Let somebody else have it and enjoy it.
I agree. And then this piece we actually brought from our library in New York. So
Again, and it's got
that
like, yeah,
too.
the coffee table.
The coffee table was in New York in, I think, Brian's office.
Yeah, no, it looks great.
Yeah.
It looks all, and it's also pretty and happy.
And again, I just this gentleman that did this, the workmanship is just so beautiful, and I love the brown taping that he put all around.
So pretty. Well, I think that was probably Rob's idea.
Yeah. No, but I'm just saying, like, even just the way he did all this, they're just so
it's
thoughtful.
Just beautiful, really. The room looks beautiful, really. So pretty and inviting. And you know, like, it's quite strong, but I always say you can always be more daring and do stronger prints in a guest bedroom because guests love to go somewhere and be enveloped. You know, as a master bedroom, your room is so soothing.
Yes,
This
mine
is
is
quite
serene,
strong,
yes.
but always when I do guest bedrooms, I sort of work them up. I make them a little more exciting because guests love that.
Yeah.
It's like an experience.
Right.
So beautiful.
Coming to your house is like going to the Four Seasons. It's true. Water, the bed turned down, the flowers, it's a whole moment.
Oh, please, your luggage just, you know, your clothes are steamed.
Yes.
It's like, you know.
Like I said, it's like going to the Four Seasons.
Well, you know, I've read all these incredible books of sort of hosts and hostesses and, you know, the legend of the way the Wrightsman is entertained. And I've always learned, you know, there should always be a wonderful novel on the bedside table and chocolates and cookies and things. Now, I don't love people eating in the bedroom, so I kind of steer away from that a little bit. I don't like food in the bedroom, but water and just making the rooms inviting
Cozy.
with fresh flowers
Yeah.
and make people feel at
Welcome,
home.
yes,
Right?
I agree.
Love that. Been so much fun, you know.
always fun being
Oh, we have the best time. You know, we're blessed to be partners and really just have fun, get to work together and shop together and eat together and just have a good
lots
time.
of things,
And do
yes.
lots of things together. It's really the best. Thank you.
My work
I love you.
my work husband.
Exactly. my work wife. Well, it was great. And the house is beautiful.
Thank
and you and
you.
Rob did such a beautiful job. It's just so pretty and it's a reflection of you.
Well,
and you know,
thank you.
that's the way a house should be. It should be personal. It looks like you and Brian and you love it and you use it and that's what makes me happy. It's so, you know, it's so nice to come to a place that's loved and used.
Yes.
Right?
And like I said at the beginning, it's taking us through our next chapter of life. So
It's gorgeous.
Yeah.
It's gorgeous. It's gorgeous. You did a great job.
thanks.
I love you,
Love
honey.
you. I'll see you.
Yeah.
See you at the office.
Exactly. Come on,
Where's
Coop.
Cooper?
Oh, I don't know. There must be food somewhere. Cooper, you
Cooper!
coming? Bye, Cooper. Bye, Cooper. Nice seeing you. Have a nice time here. I guess you want to live here. You moving? Oh, you decided you want to come. Okay. Thank you, honey. And thank you for a delicious lunch.
Okay, love you.
Love you,
I'll see
sweetheart.
you.
Bye, baby. Thank you,
I'll see you later.
Great.
Okay,
See you later.
bye.
Come on, Coops.
Bye, Coops.
Are you staying? Bye,
Better
Cooper.
go.
Bye, Cooper. Have a nice time. Enjoy living here. We'll miss you. Bye.
There he comes.
Today on Homeworthy, we're visiting a serene and inviting home in the Hamptons where we'll meet interior designer Hilary Matt. Hilary was searching for an escape from the city when she came across this beautiful ranch. She immediately recognized its potential to become the perfect family home for long and lazy summers and wasted no time getting to work. Her redesign was rooted in curating a relaxing retreat with thoughtful layers of character and warmth. Enjoy! You're watching Homeworthy, where we believe every home has a story. To shop items inspired by this and other Homeworthy episodes, be sure to check out the product links below for amazing furniture, accessories, and more.
Hi, Homeworthy. I'm Hilary Matt. Welcome to my home in the Hamptons. Come on in. And I purchased this home 3 years ago and did a complete renovation to make it summer ready for me and my family. It's located in Wainscott in the Hamptons, which is between Sagaponack and East Hampton. It's our happy place and we love it so much here, and I can't wait to show you around. My husband and I were looking for a home in the Hamptons for many years, and all of the houses we saw didn't check any of our boxes. When we saw this one, it checked them all. It's a ranch style home and it had so much potential for us to make it into our own. All right, let's get started. This is the foyer of my home. This piece right here, I had custom made. I needed something very small to fit into the foyer right here. And I loved that it was a white, interesting, funky piece that brought in, you know, a little bit of a modern, vintagey touch to the space. And I added here a vintage Noguchi light, which I bought at an auction. I bid on it many, many times, and I probably overpaid, but I knew that I needed it for this space. And I love this vase that I got here from 1818 Collective, which is an amazing home store in the Hamptons. I thought it brought in industrial element to the space, especially on top of this more modern console. This mirror that I have here was actually a little cheap cheat, which I don't think you would ever know. It's from Anthropology, and I actually got it on sale. I think it was about $150. This catch-all was also a cool piece that I purchased from 1818 Collective, which is in Sag Harbor. It's a great place where we throw our keys. I usually have a candle lit when people are coming over. I just love it to collect all of our stuff. And over here on this side of our foyer, I have a bench that we had made, also custom, in a Lee Joffa outdoor fabric, actually. This fabric is from a collection from Kelly Wersler, which I love. She makes amazing prints. I wanted this fabric to be outdoor, so when my kids and their friends come in the door with wet bathing suits, dirt from outside, I don't have to worry about it, and I literally can just wipe it clean. This piece of art above the bench is from Andrew Zimmerman. I visited the gallery in Meatpacking District, and I absolutely loved it and bought it on the spot. I thought it would be the most perfect thing for our foyer. I love incorporating natural elements into my home. This jute rug gives a very organic look right when you walk in the door. Not only does it collect sand, but it really sets the mood for the house. As you can see, my house is very open. My foyer leads directly into my living room. I would say the style of this home is comfortable modern, mixed with some vintage pieces. I really wanted this space to feel warm and cozy, but modern at the same time. A lot of the pieces of furniture that I have in this room, I purchased from Round Top, which is a vintage show in Texas that happens twice a year in Round Top, Texas. It's one of my favorite places to go to find interesting and cool pieces. This table here I actually purchased before I even owned this house. I loved it so much, and I knew whatever home we were gonna buy, I wanted to use it. So I purchased it, I stuck it in a warehouse, and as soon as we closed on the house, I had it delivered. I think it's such a special piece that grounds the whole room together. Everything in this room is so neutral, but this really brings out some color, not in a loud way, just very warm, organic, not in your face feeling. These pieces here, these accessories, which I purchased, are also from Round Top. They're vintage with this sort of verdigris finish on it. I think is so cool. And this vase also is a vintage vase from there. This sofa that I have, we custom made it for the space. It was really important for me to have a comfortable sofa for my family. I wanted it to look cozy, but also look like it was put together. I had them create a tight seat so that the sofa always looked like it was in good shape, but then the back cushions are more floppy and cozy, which is a nice mix, I think, for a living room / family room in our house. This fabric that I used on the sofa is also outdoor fabric, so I didn't have to worry about that it's white. My kids can eat on it, and I could wipe it clean, which was a must for my family. These pillows I made specifically for this room. Again, this is a Kelly Wearstler fabric that I picked from Lee Joffa that I loved. And this boucle fabric on this pillow is from Pierre Frey. I loved that both of these felt soft and warm and inviting. The rug that I picked for this room is from Art and Loom. They do beautiful rugs. We had this one made in a custom size to cover the whole room. I really loved the idea of a Moroccan type rug. So we took that idea and made it into our own with this sort of high-low pile that's in one tone, which is really comfortable on your feet and I think looks great and casual. Sometimes when decorating a room with all neutral colors, it's easy for the room to fall flat. So I think it's extremely important to incorporate different textures in a room. In this case, I have a shaggy rug, I have a linen nubby sort of sofa, and boucle and chunky fabrics. All of those things together really make a room come alive when you're using all neutral colors. So I find that's extremely important. So the fireplace in here, I really wanted to use travertine. I thought that the color palette of this stone really added to the overall look and feel I was going in the space. And this rounded look was something I was dead set on. My marble fabricator was not happy about it, but he did it for me, and I really love the way that it turned out. This piece on my fireplace is from an artist in Australia. His company is called Denholm, and he takes concrete and makes really cool furniture and sculptures. This sculpture I wanted for years, and it was sold out, and he did a release, and the second it came out, I bought it. I knew it would be the perfect piece for my fireplace, and I love the juxtaposition of the concrete and the flower. I just think it's super cool. So in this room, we have these two focal walls. My husband and I fought for about a year on what we should put here. We finally landed on this piece of art from Bradley Duncan, and we did one with a taupey background and one with the white background. We thought that this brought all of the colors of the room together and finished the room perfectly. And I'm a big fan of Bradley's art. I think he's amazing, and I was really excited to have these pieces in my home. All of this furniture that you see in front of the fireplace is actually all vintage from Round Top, Texas again. These are Scandinavian poofs with this Mongolian fur on top, which I love. It's extra seating for us in this room. If we're having a lot of people over, we can pull the chairs up to the sofa, or if you're sitting on one of these chairs, you can use the poof as an ottoman for your feet. So we really love them. And these two chairs that I have here are also vintage from Texas. I recovered them. When I purchased them, they were a mess. So I picked this beautiful fabric, again, outdoor, to recover them in, and I really love them. They're extremely comfortable and special looking. This piece of art that I have here in the corner is one of my favorite pieces in the room. This is by an artist whose name is Jake Clark. I had been watching his work for years and years. I should have bought it a while ago, but I waited as it went up in price. But I surprised my husband for Father's Day with this vase. Jake is famous for painting famous restaurants, hotels all over the world. And this is a restaurant here in the Hamptons called Bostwick's, which is an amazing seafood restaurant that my husband loves. So the second I saw he was doing a Hamptons collection, I knew I needed this one. I really enjoyed decorating my own space, but I do feel like it's really hard. I see hundreds of pieces of furniture a day and get sick of things very easily. So it was important for me to find special pieces in my house that I wouldn't get sick of, which is why I ended up purchasing a lot of vintage pieces. So this piece I was so excited about for my house. I don't really have a huge foyer, so the center of my living room is really the first thing you see when you walk in the door. So it was important for me to have an amazing light fixture. This one is from Doug Johnston. He is an amazing artist and lighting designer. He actually hand sews and knits the whole light fixture. So it's actually made of a cloth and it's so beautiful. And I picked the colors to go with the room, and the shape I felt was very special looking and organic, and it's perfect for the space. This lamp that I have over the chair is also a vintage lamp that I got in Texas. I loved the way that the shade is folded. Again, this is a good example of texture to the room. It's a neutral color, but because of the folds and the wood, it really adds a punch to the space. Off the living room is the dining room. Let's go check it out. Here in our dining area, this is a place that we use multiple times a day. This is where we sit as a family and have dinner, lunch, and also the kids are always here drawing, arts and crafts. It's a multi-use place for our family. It was very important for me to have a space where the kids could draw with their pens, their markers, and I don't have to freak out about them staining the table. So I made sure that the finish that we applied to this table was easy to wipe down. I had this table custom made, and I picked a Benjamin Moore paint color that really complemented the rest of the space. As you can see, it's very open to the living room, so everything needed to flow into one another. These chairs that you see around the table are actually from Crate and Barrel. Sadly, they don't make them anymore, but I was so excited that I actually got them when they were available. They are outdoor chairs that you could also use indoor, so again, easy to wipe. This table runner that I have on my dining table is a nice way to add a pop of something without it being too wild and crazy. I actually was gifted this table runner by Armadillo, which is a company that makes amazing rugs that sort of look just like this. And I always have some sort of flower arrangement on the table that's casual but looks pretty. This one here I think could be used for us during the day doing nothing, and also I could host a dinner party and they would look great. In our home renovation, the kitchen was one of the largest projects that we did. When we first purchased the home, we lived in it for a summer with the old kitchen just so we knew we could get the new kitchen right and see exactly what we wanted. After that summer, we completely gutted the kitchen and started from scratch. There was a ginormous pole going up here and the ceilings were much lower. So we lifted the whole thing up and opened up the whole space, and we're so happy with the way it turned out. My husband and I went back and forth on what kind of marble would be the best for this kitchen. I love marble and I really wanted whatever we chose for our kitchen to be special. We ended up landing on this camouflage marble from Bath Stone. I love, again, all of the neutral tones that it has. It is a very porous marble, which was an issue when we first got our kitchen, but I ended up putting a protectant on top of it called Tough Skin, which protects it from lemon, lime, permanent marker for 10 years, which has been amazing. And I think that's such a great way to get beautiful marble and not have to worry about it etching or staining. My kitchen, we really wanted to do something modern and simple, so we did integrated handles on all of the wood cabinets, which I really love. The way I did these handles was sort of like as if they were decorative, but they're not. So they match the cabinets exactly, and there's a very small finger pull underneath, so it's easy to pull open a drawer or a cabinet. When my husband and I were picking out everything for our kitchen, it was very important for us to pick out appliances that worked well and also were pretty looking. We ended up with Sub-Zero and Wolf for our whole kitchen. I love their refrigerators, their ovens, everything is amazing and looks good, which is hard with appliances. Outlets in a kitchen with a marble backsplash like mine are always an eyesore. So what I do on a lot of my projects and in my own home is I have an amazing decorative painter who comes and she hand paints the outlet so that it looks like it blends in completely with the marble. She is such an artist and you could hardly tell that it's there. When renovating my kitchen, I really paid close attention to all the details. For example, my hood here, I decided to hide it instead of making it a focal point. In my kitchen, I don't have many upper cabinets, so I really wanted to use this as a place to look like upper cabinets were continued. So we hid the hood behind there, and we also created some usable space above just for extra pieces that I don't use all the time. As you can see, my kitchen is extremely neutral, and I knew that we needed a pop of something on the walls to bring it all together. For the past couple of years, the walls have been empty. And then this summer, my husband and I went into a gallery in East Hampton, Gavlack Gallery, and we saw this piece there, and we both immediately knew it had to be in our kitchen. It's by an amazing Indigenous artist whose name is Renee Kondo, and she hand makes beads and puts them individually on the piece of art. We love it. I think it's so special, and I was so excited to have it in my home. These pendants that I have over my island are from a company in Napa. Their names are Bright Bound. They make amazing light fixtures. I loved the way that these looked like an art piece, but also gave off a light. I thought that the hemp braiding that went across the chain was so special and different and unlike anything I had seen. So I needed them for my home, and I think that they look absolutely perfect over my islands in my kitchen. This fruit bowl is always full in my kitchen. I love having fresh fruit and vegetables in here for me, my husband, and my kids to nibble on. These cucumbers I grew in my backyard, in my garden. I have a lot of them, and I love that we grow some fruit, mostly vegetables, in our backyard, and I always like sharing them with my friends and my family when they come over. Being an interior designer, I see things 100 times and I get sick of everything. So what I loved so much about these knobs is that I don't see them ever. And these are by a designer, an artist designer, and her name is Blanche Jelly. She's in Seattle. And I love that each of the knobs that she makes are all different. And so I picked 3 one-of-a-kind knobs and sort of put them in a line. I thought that this was unlike anything I had ever seen and add something different to my kitchen. It leads to my pantry, which I won't show you because it's not so organized. Over here, I created a little bar. My house isn't huge, but we do love to entertain. So I thought this little part of the kitchen was a perfect spot for our Sub-Zero wine fridge and to keep all of our entertaining items. When I have a dinner party, this is where I'll set up drinks and wine, and it's a great place for everyone to gather. This small bar that I have is also where I keep all of my glasses and my stemware. My mugs also, these are mugs that I love. They're from a store called Ann Sandra in Bethesda, Maryland, and I love how these look one of a kind and special, and they're also really big for a huge cup of coffee in the morning when you need it. These are also great glasses that I love to use in the summertime. I love the jute cover, which you take off and you put them in the dishwasher, but they always look so fun at my dinner tables, lunch tables, and even for everyday use, and then I love them. One of the reasons we fell in love with this house was all of the opportunities it gave us for indoor-outdoor living. I love that right off of our kitchen, you can walk right outside and hang out. Here we are outside in my backyard that we use multiple times a day. This was also a very big part of our renovation project. We blew out the whole backyard, made the whole patio bigger in order to fit a sofa, a dining table, and a whole barbecue area. When we did the renovation project outside, one of the first things we had to do was pick out what flooring we wanted to do for our patio. It was extremely important for me to pick something that didn't get hot. I love the look of bluestone, but The second the temperatures get hot, the bluestone gets hot and it burns you. You have to literally run off of it. So I ended up picking this porcelain tile that looks just like bluestone, but it's a quarter of the price and it doesn't get hot. I love the way it turned out and no one would ever know that it's not bluestone. I work with a lot of different outdoor furniture brands, but for my backyard, I definitely wanted something that was special and also comfortable. I ended up picking out a bunch of pieces from Harbor Outdoor. I think their collection of furniture is special and modern, and I really loved the look of this sofa, which has this sort of rope detailing on the side. I also picked from them a travertine coffee table, which I thought was a good way to bring the inside of my house outside and looks really beautiful. These chairs that are rattan, I picked, they're actually from Pottery Barn and they're extremely comfortable and very light, so I can move them around depending on how many people we're entertaining out here. This barbecue area we built when we did all of the work on the house. My family loves to barbecue just for us for dinner or even when we have friends over, so it was really important for us to have a great barbecue. We ended up picking out this one from Wolf, which we absolutely love. It's so easy to use and looks good too. We ended up picking for this outdoor area a concrete countertop, which looks really pretty and also is easy to wipe clean. We added an ice maker, and also we have 2 fridge drawers here, which is great for entertaining. I highly recommend doing this outside so that you don't have to run inside to grab a drink or get something that you need. This planter that I have here on top of my barbecue area is vintage from a designer. His name is Willie Gull. I love the way that he made these plaster planters that are interesting and special looking. I purchased 2 of these from a vintage store out here in the Hamptons, and I'm constantly moving them around based on what we're doing. If I'm serving food up here, I'll move it over to the coffee table, but I really think that it's a special piece and I was so excited to be able to get my hands on one. Down this way is our pool area, which gets used multiple times a day. I don't know if you can see it, but we actually have a water slide back here, which isn't what I would pick to have at my pool, but we got to keep our kids entertained. These chaises that I have out here by the pool are also by Harbor Furniture. I love how comfortable they are. The cushions make you feel like you're sitting on a sofa or laying on a bed. We're always hanging out here all day, whether it's watching the kids, reading a book, talking on the phone. I'll sometimes lay out here with my laptop and do work. It's really calm and relaxing and a special place here. The pool is original to the house. We left it where it was, which I actually really loved how close it was to the home itself, so you could run in and out. We ended up keeping grass around the outside of the pool. I thought it made it feel more casual and family friendly rather than adding a sort of layer of bluestone or porcelain bluestone around it. Over here in my backyard is my vegetable garden, which I want to show you. But as you can see, while we're walking to my vegetable garden, I have this giant patch of dead grass, which is my husband's worst nightmare. It's actually from this summer. We had a party and this is where everyone danced and they completely killed the grass. Hopefully next summer it will grow back. Over here is where I have my vegetable garden. This summer, I really wanted to give it a shot. I had never had a garden before. So we created this small little area. And if I like it after the summer, I'll create an even bigger one. As you can see, there's some tomatoes on the ground. I don't know how that happened. Maybe an animal got here. But we're growing a lot of different things. There is kale. I have tomatoes. I have parsley, basil, jalapeno peppers, mint. There's a lot of mint. I use mint all the time. I make lemonade. I put it in water. So I love taking fresh mint from the garden. I don't do that great of a job as keeping it up, but I'm really trying to have a green thumb. We'll see. But I've really enjoyed having a vegetable garden. Next to the vegetable garden, we have a s'mores pit, which as you can see, there's leftover sticks from when we did s'mores last night that someone forgot to clean up. But we really love it here. My husband loves to light fires and we sit here. We have s'mores, We hang out. It's really a special place for us in our backyard. The siding of our house is original to when we purchased it. We loved the look of the modern barn house, and all we did to the siding is we power washed it to get it very light. When we first purchased the home, it was a lot more orangey looking. As you can see, even by looking at it now, there's parts where the sun hits it more, which make it a little more gray versus the redder parts. But we really tried to power wash the whole thing and get it to a lighter color, and then we added a satin clear stain on top of it to try and get it to stay, which really gave it more of a updated look than how it looked when we purchased it. Another thing that we did is we put a whole new roof on. We put a black metal roof, which I think really helped to modernize it and make it look almost brand new. This dining area outside of our house is more of the formal dining area that we use for dinner parties and when we have people over. I love that we can entertain close to the kitchen and close to the barbecue, and also a lot of times we'll open the doors to the living room and have it be an indoor-outdoor situation, which is really lovely in the summer. The furniture that is around the table here is also from Harbor. I chose these chairs, which are sling chairs, which actually resemble a vintage chair but are not vintage, which I fell in love with. This table I also purchased from Harbor Furniture. I love that it's metal, it's easy to maintain, and always looks good. I actually ordered a second table that's a little bit smaller that's exactly the same. So if I'm having a large dinner party, I bring that one up here and I put them together and I can seat 14 people, which is really great. We love flowers in the backyard, as you can see, and interesting planters. Our planters that are around the perimeter of the house are concrete planters that I think are really beautiful. Again, I love the juxtaposition of these beautiful wispy flowers with more of an industrial concrete planter. I think it looks really pretty, and I'm constantly trying to find interesting combinations of flowers that will make them stand out. All right, let's head back inside now. Now that we're back inside, I want to show you a few of the bedrooms down this hallway, but first I want to show you this little powder room that we have right off of the entry. I love that this powder room feels like a little jewel box when you step inside. I chose a beautiful marble slab from Bath Stone and had the slab cut to be the vanity with an integrated sink, which I think is really interesting and cool looking. On the walls, I did a lime plaster paint from Resource Paint, and it's a very pretty blue color, which complements the marble really nicely. I used Callista plumbing, which patinas with time, which I think is really beautiful. Not everyone appreciates that, but I think it's nice that the finish changes on it. The sconces are really special from Cuff Studio. I was really excited to use these in my house. They have a rope that's wrapped around the whole thing, and they're very large, which I think makes them really fun. And the mirror I got in Texas from Round Top, another vintage find of mine, which I loved. Down this hallway is my older son's room, which I'll show you. I really wanted to create a fun space for him in our house. He was dead set on having bunk beds. We live in the city during the year and there's not that much space, so he dreamed of having bunk beds like this. We did a full bed on the bottom so he could have sleepovers with his friends, or we could cram friends and family here with a twin size above. I custom made this bunk bed in this beautiful white oak wood, which I thought was really pretty and complemented everything else in the house. The wallpaper I chose for this room is from Maya Romanoff. It's actually a flannel with a black stitching over it, which I think is really cozy and sweet. This piece of art that I have here is David Shrigley. I'm a big fan of all of his pieces, and my son loves pizza, so I knew this was the perfect thing for here. Another fun thing I did in his room is I created this rock climbing wall. I really wanted a place for him to be able to hang out in the winter and also the summer, and so he wouldn't get bored. So I thought this is a really cool addition to his room. It looks cool and he can use it. I also loved this chair from B&B Italia. It's really fun and special looking. He loves to sit in here and read books, or we'll sit together. And it's a really great addition to the room, I think. This is my younger son's room. I really wanted to make this room super cute and cozy for him. I ended up picking a wallpaper that's denim for the walls, which I thought was really cool and unlike anything I had ever seen before. This denim wallpaper is from Philip Jeffries, and I really feel like it gives a nice summery feel, but it's also neutral. The carpet, I picked this ombre blue carpet, which I thought was really fun and gave a little bit of funk to the room. And this bed, which is his new bed, because he just got a big boy bed, is from Monty. I custom picked from them the colors, so we did a darker piping and a lighter fabric on it, and there's also a trundle underneath, so if we need to squeeze a lot of people in this room or he wants to have a sleepover, he can always have it in his room. Above his bed, we put this cute basketball hoop. My kids are always throwing around balls, so I just sort of go with it and let it happen. And I gave him a basketball hoop here, and he really loves it. On this side of his room, I have another vintage piece that I got in Texas. This Bellini chair I recovered in my own fabric, and here's my dog Presley. This is her spot. She loves to sleep here almost every night and during the day. But I loved that this little interesting chair got its moment in the corner, and we use it all the time for reading books, for hanging out. It's one of our favorite spots in the house. And next to the chair, I have this cool piece of art from Nate Nettleson. It's basically like a scribble on the wall, which I thought was really fun. Now we're stepping into my primary bedroom, which is a very serene, neutral oasis, which is exactly what we wanted from this bedroom. My bedroom in the city is very harsh and black and white, so I really wanted this to feel calm and serene, which I think we achieved. I picked this wallpaper, which looks like travertine, which is the same stone that I used on the fireplace, which I thought was a nice way that brought the living room into this room. It has a little bit of shine, but not too much, which is really pretty. This bed I had custom made for us, and I picked this very chunky fabric from Pierre Frey, which is really interesting looking and adds a lot of depth and texture to the room. These side tables I picked out from Kelly Wersler. They're really special and cool, and the plaster nude blush color of them I thought really helped to bring everything together. These lamps are another cheat of mine that I use on a lot of my projects. These are from Williams-Sonoma, and they're onyx. They're really solid and heavy, and they're so beautiful and really make a statement and look extremely expensive, even though they're not. This piece of art that I have in our bedroom is by an artist whose name is Lauren Beck. I actually saw these hanging at the Well, and I fell in love with them, and I somehow figured out who the artist was and contacted her and knew I needed it for my bedroom. I love the thick knits on it and how warm and cozy it feels. I thought it would be the perfect addition to our room. The bench that I have at the end of our bed is a Mongolian vintage bench that I got also in Texas that I loved. This is another way that I added textures into the room but kept everything neutral so that the room really feels finished and full and not flat. This blanket that I picked for the ends of my bed is a really cool boucle blanket from this company called Uniquity. They make really beautiful throws, and again, I loved the texture it added to my plain white sheets. The rug, same thing, it's from Stark, and it has a bunch of different fibers and leather woven through it, so it really gives you that depth and texture, but is really soft and comfortable on your feet. My drapes in my room were something that I was really excited about. I really feel like sheer drapes add a lot of warmth to a room and look so beautiful. One of my biggest pet peeves in decorating is when drapes are too short. It makes it look like that you bought them from any store and just settled on the length of them. So it was very important to me that all of my drapes hit the floor or puddled a little bit on the floor. I think the puddling in this room specifically gives a very relaxed and casual feel, which is what we were going for. In my room, I knew I needed a really cool light fixture to pull it all together. I picked this Noguchi paper lantern, again, because it was another texture that added to the space. The paper shade is so beautiful. I love just the little parts that are wrinkled, and it's really nice to look up to at night, especially when it's dark out and that's the only thing that's lit up in the room. It's really beautiful, and I knew it was the perfect thing for here. Now I'm going to take you upstairs into my kids' den. I really wanted to make sure my kids had a space where they could hang out with their friends, and also we could all hang out as a family. So we created this den for them. I picked this wallpaper, or actually I designed this wallpaper with Porter Telio. I really think it made the space fun. I saw a tile that I really loved, and I hand drew this design, and Porter Telio made me this wallpaper. They make incredible wallpaper, and all of it is made by hand by different artists. This sofa that I have in this room is by a company called Versatility. They make really comfortable, cozy pieces. I love the boxy bubbleness of it, and I thought it was really fun to incorporate into the kids' space. And again, the fabric on it is an outdoor fabric. Don't have to worry about it, but could still keep the trend with the white sofas. It looks really good, and it's extremely comfortable. The coffee table that I picked from this room is from a designer whose name is Sarah Ellison. She makes really beautiful pieces of furniture, and she's from Australia. So I was really excited to use this piece in this room. It's very light and easy to move around for my kids when they're building forts or jumping around. Another fun part of the room is this donut poof that I put here from Hem. I saw it online and I knew that I had to have it. It's so fun. The kids jump in here, I lay on it, we all hang out, they throw things in it. It's just a really fun thing that I wanted to incorporate into the space. This media stand that I have is from Crate and Barrel. I really have been loving their pieces recently. They've really been doing a good job in creating and designing updated pieces, and I thought that this looked really vintage, even though it's from Crate and Barrel and really inexpensive. So I really love it. This piece that I have here is a piece of art from an artist whose name is Daniel Arsham. He does sort of agate stone pieces from everyday objects. So I thought this Brillo box was really cool and fun to have up here with the kids. And over here, this little lamp is another vintage find that I got in Texas. I love little knickknacks just to put around in places that you wouldn't expect. The light fixture that I picked for this space is this rattan light fixture from a place called Atelier Vime in France. I found this light and I loved the scale of it and the texture. I ordered it from France and it actually came just as the shell without a light bulb in it. So I had to source someone in the city to actually put it together for me. It was a little bit of a headache, but I think it was totally worth it, and I love how it looks in my house. This air hockey table, which is so beautiful, in my den was a gift from my brother to my son. My kids love playing air hockey. They love hockey, so this is definitely a piece I couldn't get rid of and had to let them have, but it keeps them busy up here, so it's great. This room is usually not as pretty as this. I feel like there's always toys spread everywhere. It's really hard to keep them all together, but I do have bins that we throw everything in, so at the end of the day, after they're done playing, it can look sort of put together. But you're definitely seeing this room at its best, and it does not always look like this. This home is a special place for me and my family. It's an escape from the city, and it's our happy place. I've loved having you guys here in the Hamptons, but now it's time for you to go Homeworthy. Bye.
Thanks for watching. Be sure to go to homeworthy.com for exclusive content, shopping guides, and so much more.